Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry Annie. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome, and happy Friday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we dive into all the latest celebrity news, hot topics, gossip, anything that's going on in the world of entertainment and what's trending in the world of hot topics. We talk about it on this here show. So, before we get started, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And I feel like I've been doing good by y'all. I've been giving you a lot of shows this week. I think this is probably like my third or fourth one this week, but we got a lot of tea to get into. I told you I went to the movies yesterday, so I saw two films. I'm going to give you guys my review of Civil War and Abigail. Plus, we have some interesting news on Fallout. I don't know if you guys have been watching that over on Prime Video, but it's been given a second season. Plus, we're going to be talking about Madonna and her tour. It may be getting filmed in a location she's going to be filming at soon. Plus, we got some news on Ashanti, more news on Jennifer Lopez. Rihanna is spilling tea about her upcoming album. Pharrell and P.Inc are in a legal dispute. Shyne basically is finally saying, we all been saying for the longest, that he was the fall guy in that 99 shooting that Diddy and Jennifer Lopez was involved in, speaking of J-Lo. But he's not necessarily blaming Diddy for what happened to him. I'll give you my thoughts on that. Plus, we have an update on Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty, trying to get permission to travel internationally for her Pink Friday 2 tour. So we have an update on that. Plus, Maya Bialik is speaking out about the abuse allegations, because a lot of people, child stars have been speaking out about it, what's been going on since the whole Quiet on Set docuseries has come out. She's giving her thoughts and weighing in. Plus, we have an update on Halle Bailey and DDG's relationship. We talked about that in the last episode where they had broken up. Apparently, they trying to say pump your brakes not so fast, they still hunching. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, there was apparently a security guard or a bouncer at Hart and WeHo. I don't know if y'all ever been there, but it's a I don't think Lance Bass is a part of it anymore, but I remember he was an investor at one point, and he was very hands-on and with there. But apparently, the bouncer was arrested because he beat up one of the customers. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, homophobes are big mad at a straight EDM DJ because he's got cojones, unlike a lot of you hoes that be scared because y'all worried about what other people think. He's performing at a pride event and the homophobes are mad about it. So we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. But like I said before, please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button before we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, an interactive talk show. I had to take some water, child. An interactive talk show where everybody, if depending on the topic, you all can chime in and give your opinions and all that other good stuff. I do read it, good, bad, or indifferent, but be respectful, because I will cuss you out. But anyway, let me hit my banner, and without further ado, let's get into it. So yesterday, I made a double feature. So first, I went to go see Civil War. Well, first I was running around doing a lot of stuff. I went and got a haircut. I went to work out at the gym. And then I was like, okay, I got a little time to get something to eat real quick. And then I ran my ass over to the movies because I said I was going to be there for a while. And I was like, let me check out some films. And I really feel like 2024, even though it's been happening with the pandemic and everything, and now we're slowly starting to get back into the groove of things, I was like, you know what, let me go check out a couple of films. And so far, 2024 has been really, really, unlike the music industry, 2024 has really been, pretty solid when it comes to movie releases. So I happened to go see this movie from Alex Garland. And, I'm pretty much a fan of Alex Garland's films. Like, I liked Ex Machina. I think he also had something to do with Dread. Let me see if he has something to do with that. Did he direct that? Well, the word on the card was they said that he actually did direct it, but Pete Travis was the one who was correct, who was credited, but they trying to say Alex Garland was the one who finished it. And to be honest, I thought Dread was a really good movie. I'm still upset that we haven't gotten a sequel. I really liked Carl Urban as Dread. And to me, I like a lot of Alex Garland stuff because Alex Garland is someone who will take stuff that could possibly happen and he basically fictionalizes it. Like the whole thing with Ex Machina and the whole robot and who was in that? Was it Ana de Armas? I think was in that, and Oscar Isaac. I actually like the premise of that film. And then with this movie, it's yeah, I feel like if we're not too careful, shit, what happened in here in the movie could actually happen in real life. So, for those of you who are not familiar, Civil War is a 2024 dystopian film written and directed by Alex Garland. It's set in the near future. It follows a team of journalists traveling across the United States during the Civil War, which has engulfed the nation. The ensemble cast, includes Kirsten Dunst, Wagner Moura, Kaylee Spaney, Stephen McKinley, Henderson, Sonoya Mizuno, Nick Offerman, and Jesse Plemons. Nick Offerman plays the president, a Donald Trump-esque president. They ain't say what it was, but with the fascism and all the other stuff that was engulfed in this president, and how he caused this civil war, and he was a 3-term president, and how he was hiding out. Okay, so basically the premise of the story, because it basically just says, oh, they're traveling across a dystopian America. The whole goal for them is that they're busy filming. They go in and they take pictures and stuff, and they photograph war zones. So they go into the war zones, and there's like they're capturing a lot of stuff that happens. So if limbs are being blown up, or people are protesting, and there's an explosion or shootouts, whatever the case is, they're putting themselves in the line of fire for that adrenaline rush, and also to get to get those pictures for the people who they work for, which I believe they said Reuters. Reuters, however the hell you say it. But anyway, so they went in, they take the pictures, they put themselves in a line of fire, and that sort of thing. So that's what happens. But the big finale thing, the main goal for them is they're trying to travel to DC to get a one-on-one interview with the president, who has holed himself up in the White House while the world is engulfed in this while America is engulfed in this crazy war. And I also found it fascinating that there was this one scene where they're traveling to this area, I forget where it was, and the whole area looked like very Leave It to Beaver. It was like a nice little town where everybody just kind of living this normal life. Reminded me a lot of The Walking Dead. But then they were like, just look up at the roof. And then you look up at the roofs or whatever, and it's still like they have those guys up there with their semi-automatic weapons. So while they're going about their lives pretending like the world isn't crumbling and the world isn't, falling into the fiery pits of hell around them, in reality, they still have that little bit of protection. So they're not entirely like trying to walk around brainwashed or delusional, but they've convinced themselves that they're living this normal life, even though you got these people on rooftops making sure that nobody comes in and tries their shit, because then they'll get killed on sight. So I like that idea, and I also love the fact of this whole thing. What I particularly loved about the film was the photography. It's like juxtaposing the photos of them taking those shots of what was happening around them and interlinking it with the violent shots of the movie. And I jumped a couple of times too. There was even a moment in the film, and I don't want to give it away in case anybody sees it, where we lose a character, and I actually cried watching it. So yeah, I be getting emotional and stuff when I be going to the movie. So definitely it's good. Kirsten Dunst was good, and it also played into this, because I see a lot of people on Twitter and all these other places getting all mad and talk about, oh, it's a woke film, or what's this, or what's that. I'm like, first of all, suck my ass with the goddamn woke word, because I feel like so many other words that I hear people out here using, like grooming and awesome, amazing, all the like certain words. Y'all be using those words so much and to death that you've taken away the actual meaning of it. Tired of trying to tell people what woke means. It's basically just being aware of things that's happening to people who are marginalized, meaning non-white and male. Because everybody else, if you're not white and you're not a man, everybody else is another. So seeing how these people are really fighting amongst each other, but not realizing who the real enemies are, and there's a lot of our government, a lot of these politicians who are bought and paid for, a lot of these other things that's going on. And it's cool. And it was cool to see how like the military was like, okay, well, we're not emboldened by this president anymore. We going in to kill this motherfucker, and then y'all can come along and do what y'all need to do with it. So I actually love that. The shootouts, the action sequences were really on point and great. I really thought that this was a really good movie. It's very thought provoking, and I love the idea of them kind of doing like this whole both sides thing, instead of being like Republicans bad, Democrats good. Because quiet as it's kept, if you follow me when I talk about politics, I look at both sides and they're two peas in a pod. It's just the fact that at least one thing I will give credit to with the Republicans, even though I can't stand a lot of them motherfuckers anyway, because y'all a bunch of racist, homophobic, transphobic, anybody that's a other that ain't white and male, y'all not here for. And y'all busy trying to take away people's rights. At least they're upfront about their shit. And me, when it comes to my enemies, I'd rather you be upfront with who you are instead of being a sneaky mother father behind my back. And that's what I feel like a lot of times Democrats do when it comes to situations. And a lot of times, y'all will gaslight women when it comes to abortion issues, where it's like, y'all could have stopped a whole lot of these things that's going on with abortion, but y'all like to little dangle the carrot in front of people. But see, it's their fault that we lost it. But it's like, but when you have the opportunity to have the power to run a lot of these places, when you had the House, when you had the Senate, when you had all these things, you could have prevented abortion from being put in a place of where it is, where Donald Trump had that shit, pulled back, or Republicans are going around saying that at a certain amount of months it's considered barbaric to have an abortion, even if it's rape or incest. So Democrats, you ain't innocent in this shit either. And that's why I know a lot of people get mad when they talk about Democrats and Republicans, and they talk about um Joe Biden is the lesser of two evils. Quiet as it's kept, I think they both evil. But we're stuck in this shitty ass two-party situation. It would be nice if we could have had more of a progressive third party. But until people really start to understand politics and all this other stuff, I feel like we're just gonna be stuck dealing with two shitty parties until we can get out of that whole situation, and there be a day where we get a progressive third party that really cares about the people and is not bought and paid for. Especially how, when I say it, it's funny how Biden can find the time to get on the phone and call Netanyahu to stand down about Iran, but you was real quiet when it was going on to the people over in Gaza. And then I just saw something today about the United Nations and what's going on with Gaza and that whole situation where they were denied help and all this other mess. So it's a lot of craziness going on. I didn't want to get too political, but the fact is, I did like the idea where it's just sort of like, we're going to put these things in front of you when it comes to politics and what's going on in the world, and we want you to figure out and decide for yourself what this is, instead of being like, Republicans bad, Democrats good. So I like when you can kind of make a vague situation about what's going on in the world, and how at any point any kind of politician who becomes president could become sort of like this fascist person and then hide in the little White House with all these people, you know, and while the world is burning around them. So there was a lot of crazy nail-biting moments. I definitely recommend that everybody go out and see this film. It is a good film. A24, in my opinion, has definitely been doing a damn thing when it comes to a lot of the movie releases. Like I've liked a lot of things that's come out of A24. I'm looking forward to seeing Maxine. There's another movie that's coming out, and I forgot what it was, but it was a trailer they just showed, and it had Justice Smith in it, and it was like some sort of TV character or whatever that might be a demon or something or other. That actually looked really cool. There was and I loved Hereditary, Midsommar. First of all, that Hereditary scene, y'all know the scene I'm talking about. That shit still lives in my head to this day and freaks me out. So A24 has definitely been laying it down when it comes to quality movies. I highly recommend this film. Even whatever your political beliefs are, just go see the film and just try to have empathy and understand like how the world is and what's going on. If we're not too careful, we might end up like that shit too. I hope not, but sometimes I was like, well, damn, could you imagine we all living like this? Like the world's, going to hell in a handbasket. We all living in tents and shit trying to survive. I do love a post-apocalyptic movie, though. So if you guys have seen it, let me know down in the comments below. Now, speaking of other movies that I went to go see, I went to go see Abigail too. And I have to say, I had to cleanse my palate, because when I went to go see, Civil War, which I just finished reviewing prior to this film, um, I was like, I need a little palate cleanser. And the good thing was they both aligned. So as soon as like Civil War was done, and I timed it just right. I was like, by the time Civil War is done, I'll have like at least an hour and some change before I go see Abigail. And I meant to mention, I saw Civil War in IMAX, and then I went to go see Abigail in Dolby. So I was like, ooh, that's good, because, you get kind of like the same thing. It was like, regardless, you get the audio and the visual with IMAX as well as Dolby. So when I went to go see Abigail, I was really excited to see this film because, one, I told y'all from the beginning that I was going to support this film because of my girl Melissa Barrera. Everything that she was going through, whatever, just speak on her mind in regards of like politics and being pro-Palestine and being against genocide and all that other stuff. And I was like, I got to go support my girl Melissa Barrera. and Radio Silence in their latest film. And I have to say, out of the many movies that they released so far, because what did they do? They did the two Scream movies, which I thought they had good moments, but do I feel like they were solid Scream films on the same level as like what Wes Craven was giving us for the many movies that he's given us? No, I felt like Radio Silence did a okay job. I enjoyed certain parts of it. I did like the core four thing. There were issues that I have with Scream 5 and 6, but nevertheless, I like the characters and I like some of the set pieces. But as far as like a whole well-rounded movie, they both so far have given me weak third acts. And what I will say about Abigail, I was thoroughly entertained through and through. I love the idea that, okay, so they took basically it's based off of an pre-existing IP. So it's based off Dracula's Daughter, which is an old film that came out back in the day. You know, they were digging the old Universal archive for a lot of the horror movie stuff, and it has that whole idea. And then they had the whole she's a vampire ballerina and sort of thing. The one thing I will say about this one that did irk me is that, okay, so because of the success of Megan, I felt like the studio was like, can we get one of those little dancing sequences or something in there so that way it can go viral on social media? Like it felt like that at one point because there's about three dance sequences. The opening has her, in like this big on the stage doing her solo number in front of nobody. So they have that, which I've seen in the commercials and all the stuff. Then there's a second sequence where she's dancing with one of which is hilarious. I'm not going to give it away because nobody's seen it, but it's quite the cackle. The when with her second dance sequence. Then there's a third dance sequence, but then she's like, there's a sequence where she's dancing throughout the house, like beating up the characters and hunting them and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I felt like in a lot of those sequences, they were trying to be like, okay, let's capitalize off of Megan and throw that in there. They didn't have to do that. They could have had them, it could have just been their own movie. But what irked me was the fact that they had to put that in there because I felt like, okay, that's studio interference. But everything else about the film, I thoroughly enjoyed. So for those of you not aware, it's basically, the film is basically about a group of criminals who kidnap a ballerina daughter of a powerful underworld figure. They retreat to an isolated mansion, unaware that they're locked inside with no normal little girl. And y'all already know what it is because you've seen the commercials and all that other stuff. And it was interesting to find out the backstory of Abigail and her father. And at points, I actually started feeling sorry for her. Even though she's this bad little girl and she's going around killing and eating people and shit, I was like, you know what? Based on how they rounded out her backstory, I thought, she was good in it. What's the actress's name? Alicia Weir. I actually thought she did a phenomenal job. I was like, and it was smart for them to hire a girl, a actress who could play up these different moments where she's like playing like she's scared or she's crazy or she's creepy and she's going around hunting me like this bad little girl, whatever. Like she was very good with that. And I love the fact that they hired someone who's an actual performer because Alicia Weir was in Matilda, I think the musical, whatever that was on Netflix. So I thought she was good. Dan Stevens, I always like him. I heard he's in the Kong versus Godzilla movie. I have not seen it yet. I'll wait until it comes out on streaming or whatever. I'm in no hurry to see it in the theater, but I've always liked Dan Stevens. I like Dan Stevens ever since he was in The Guest. He was really good in that film. I was hoping that one day we get a sequel. I don't think we will. Melissa Barrera, I will say as Joey, to me, she is definitely a leading girl. Now I know a lot of people will sit up here saying, well, I don't think she's a good actress because of Spain. Well, first of all, that's down to the script. I don't think that's necessarily her fault, but I felt like her character in Abigail was way better and much stronger and well-rounded than she was in the previous in the Scream movie. So I actually liked her and what her motivation was and why she was a part of a lot of the motivations and stuff. So I did like that whole background of like, okay, so who these characters and why did they decide to come together and kidnap this little girl? And I have to say, there's a lot of twists and turns in this film that a lot of people aren't going to see coming. Like there was times where I thought I had the movie figured out and I was gagged at the third act. I was like, what? Really? This is going on? So it was, so a lot of the sequences and stuff in there I thought was pretty cool. A lot of the action sequences I thought, I want a little more, but they were just fun little, jump scares, chase sequences and stuff. Giancarlo Esposito as Lambert, I actually like him. He's always been, pretty good in anything that he does. I've always been pretty much a fan of Giancarlo Esposito. I even read an article recently that he said that he was so poor as an actor at one point, he almost decided to take out a life insurance policy on himself so that way his family could be set financially because he was struggling as an actor. And it wasn't until he appeared on Breaking Bad is when his career finally broke out. Because I remember seeing Giancarlo Esposito. He's been acting for a long time. Like he was in Do the Right Thing. Like he was in so many movies, and it was great to finally see, you know, his career finally flourish. Kevin Durant. I've always liked Kevin Durant. First of all, he was giving body yada yada in that movie. Like he was just buff, and I've always had this little crush on Kevin Durant. I mean, I've liked him in a lot of things. First of all, I loved him in oh my god, what's the name of that damn? There was the Strain. I could not remember the name of that show to save my life. I read the book. I liked the series as it was coming on, but as the season progressed, I was like, okay, this is getting stupid. But I liked him on the show, and I also liked him in Resident Evil. I think it was Retribution. He was good at that. Look, Kevin Durant is good in anything that he usually stars in. But he was pretty good in this film too. He was playing like the dumb muscle. And then last but certainly, there was and then I should also mention, what's the other girl? Catherine Newton. I've always liked her. I think she was in Freaky. She's a pretty good actress. She was funny in this movie too. But but last but certainly not least, Angus Cloud. Angus Cloud, when I saw him in this film, it made me miss him so much. I was like, damn, he had to pass away from the drug OD and all that other stuff. And now we're not going to really get to see him in any more movies. Like, he was like one of my favorite characters on Euphoria. And I did see recently that Zendaya came. I was like, I don't know when we're going to be doing a Euphoria. I'm still waiting to hear. Blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of hearing that shit too, which y'all vague. Y'all don't know what's going on. Can we just cancel Euphoria already? Nobody wants it. The actors have moved on. Zendaya's too big for the damn show. Jacob Elordi's too big for the show, and Sydney Sweeney's too big for the show. I don't even think they want to come back. Quiet as it's kept, I could care less if y'all come back. So I really think they need to put that shit out the pasture. And then on top of that, it's like Angus Cloud not going to be a part of the show. I feel like there's really no point. But he was really good in the part that he played. He was funny in a lot of the scenes that he was in, and it made me like see like, damn, this kid has so much potential, and I would have really loved to have seen where his career would have gone had he not left us so soon. So I'll say this, overall, I say this: if you have nothing to do this weekend, definitely go out and check Abigail in theaters. It's a fun, creepy, hilarious horror movie, something that you can just sit there. It's a good popcorn flick where you can just sit in there and just enjoy it. Is it like this movie that's gonna win a bunch of awards? Of course not. I mean, it's a horror movie. They don't respect horror films in any way in a lot of these big award type shows anyway. But to me, it just shows like it's a good film. I'm really hoping that because of what happened with Melissa Barrera, that radio silence is getting to this point of, okay, we can't work with you anymore because you said something about you said something that Israel people consider anti-Semitic. You should be removed from the earth because you have an opinion different than theirs. Oh my God, cute. Run for cover. Oh my God, it's the end of the world. You can't say nothing about Jewish people because it's anti-Semitic when it's not. So, I feel to say, I hope that people continue to work with Melissa. She has a lot of potential, and people should not be afraid to speak their mind about things that are deemed wrong out of fear of losing their damn jobs. So, shout out to her. Shout out to this film. And I should also shout out a lot of the actors and stuff who showed support and I almost forgot to bring this up, who showed support at the Abigail, the movie premiere. Matthew Lillard was there, Skeet Ulrich was there, Mason Gooding, and Tony Revolori. Tony Revolori was the one who was in the opening kill of Scream 6. He was the one that killed Samara Weaving's character and then ended up dead in the other part of the movie. So he was there. And then also, oh my God, who was the other actor? His last name is Minette. Oh my God, how did I forget his name? Dylan Minnette. I was like, I had to type that in real quick. Dylan Minnette, cute self, was there too from Pretty Little Liars. He was there at there to show support. So you know what? Regardless of what people say and stuff, they're out here showing support for my girl Melissa Barrera, good, bad, or indifferent. So y'all can be mad all y'all want, whatever. And yeah, there's that. So I say all this to say, like I said before, go out and support this movie. It's a whole lot of fun. It's a hoot and all that good stuff. Okay, so now let me check before we move on to the topics. I mean, the rest of the topics. Let's get into some of these comments. Did you get my message of Jack getting dragged? I'll explain further. I think he wants the Lana sound to go full on major. Who's Jack? Atnoff? No, I didn't see what that is that you're talking about. So like the article I shared with you, grooming has become so toxic. It's a dangerous word now that is weaponized towards the I mean, child. There was a funnily enough, you bring up the whole grooming relationship thing. There was a recent story that I saw earlier, actually, that combines with this because apparently, for those who don't understand what we're talking about, apparently Gen Z has a problem with guys dating older people and vice versa because they consider it grooming when it's like I need people to stop using words that they don't understand what the fuck it means because not everything is a grooming situation. They look at what happened between Aoki and the older guy she was dating who was like 65 and she's 21. That's grooming. First of all, if this girl is running out here seeking a sugar daddy, that is not grooming. She knows exactly what the hell she's doing and what she's looking for out of the relationship that she's in. And plus, what I found as the cackle, because I read the article, I think it was Huffington Post, they consider relationships, if you're, say, 22 and you're dating someone who's 25, 26, they consider that old and grooming too. I'm like, huh? How y'all in the same demographic and that's grooming? Like, are y'all slow? Now, one of the things I did get out of the article too is that some people were saying that one girl said that the reason why she wasn't for the whole dating someone older because she was in her 20s and the guy was in his 30s is because she didn't get a lot of the nuances of what he was talking about, especially like, okay, so if it's a TV show or something he watched or a song reference, whatever the case is. So I'm like, y'all so afraid of not knowing something that that's what causes y'all to not be in a relationship. There have been many times where I've been around people or been in relationships with people who are older and I didn't get the references, but did I run away from it? No, it was explained to me. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I got it, whatever, whatever." And then you move on. So it just goes to show, like, what I was getting from the article is that Gen Z is so afraid of their damn feelings that they rather just be by themselves and miserable rather than feeling any kind of emotion. Y'all can't be hiding and running away from y'all emotions and shit. Eventually, you're gonna have to face it. Like that's just the way it is, things are in life. Everything like they want participation trophy. Everybody got to be a winner. It's like no, if you did not put in the work and you didn't do as good, what we learned when I was growing up is that when I would come in second place or third place or whatever the case, if I didn't win a prize, I tried harder because then I knew like, okay, if I worked hard for that thing, then I was able to get it. These days, everybody, oh, because you participate, let me give you a trophy. Hell fucking no. You're not getting a trophy. You lost. Work harder for the next time. And that's why I feel like a lot of the generations have gotten lazy because y'all don't want to work hard for things. You'll want shit handed to you. And it's like, no, life should not be made easier for you. Life is just hard in in general. Is that everything ain't gonna be you're not always gonna get your way in life. That's just not how the world works. So this whole thing about grooming is because and then also I heard because there's a story going around about Little Kim who's in her 40s, late 40s, dating a 24-year-old, and Keisha Cole is dating somebody who's older as well. And then they were bringing up Aaron Taylor Johnson and his wife, who his wife directed the new Amy Winehouse movie. I didn't know that until yesterday. I was at the theater and they showed the trailer, and it said his wife's name was in there. I was like, oh, okay, but they were talking about that because he was 18 or 19 or whatever, and she was in her damn 40s with two children. Well, they got kids of their own. And they were trying to sit up and say that she groomed him. But he said that, you know what? And people have to realize this because I've been on many movie sets and stuff. A lot of times when you're a kid and you're not around a lot of kids, you're around a lot of adults. A lot of times kids are like, I can't relate to a lot of kids my age. I remember when I was a kid, I felt like I didn't relate to a lot of people my age. So I gravitated more towards older people because I felt like I was way too mature for my age in a lot of situations. And of course, this is pre-internet and stuff. So I didn't have to have computers or whatever to influence my brain or my thought process or whatever the case was. I've always kind of in a way felt that I was way too mature for my age. So I just think that people have to be willing to understand other people's situations and stuff before they're so quick to criticize, or at least go through some shit. This is the thing that irritated me when we talked about Sex in the City. It's like y'all mad over some of the stuff in Sex in the City. Don't get me wrong. When I watch Sex in the City, like I said in the last episode, I cringe at some of the stuff too. A lot of the topics and a lot of the things that they talk about in that show is outdated. However, that came out in the late '90s, way into the 2000s. The times was different. So you can't call things problematic when this was what it was back in the day. Now, when you know better, you do better. And as you get older, you're not going to go back and still follow those characteristics that nobody is still remains the same person they were when they were, in their 20s. If you're in your 50s, you're not gonna still have those same thoughts. If you do, then I guess maybe you need Jesus, you need an exorcism, you need a therapist, you need something. Because I don't understand how people could just run through life being ignorant and stuff, and they thought process still have the same thought process that they did when they were younger, when they're older. I still don't hold on to the same shit that I did when I was 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. So I don't know. So I just don't get it. I just feel like Gen Z, y'all need to go out and touch some damn grass. That's what y'all need to do. Okay, you said age gap relationships that's so normal in queer communities is not the power issue. I mean, it could be. I think it is power issues in certain situations if you know what it is. Now, if I'm out here and I'm in a relationship with somebody who's older than me, 10 years older, 20 years older, but I still got my own shit. That's what you gotta make that's what you gotta really think about. It's like I could be in a relationship with a guy that's older, but you also, if you're gonna do that, do not be in the relationship if you're expecting that man to be your sugar daddy. But if that's what you're looking for, just know that there's rules or there's situations that comes with that. So just be aware that okay, so now if you're in a relationship with this older man, that okay, so you in it because he's taking care of you and money, and there's strings that come attached with that. That was the word I was looking for. Strings. There's strings attached that comes with being in those type of relationships. Me, if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I got to also make sure I got my fu money, because you're not going to sit and have me tied up into your stuff while I'm over here struggling to be able to do what I need to do. So we can still hunch, we can still have a relationship and stuff, but you're not going to try to treat me like I'm a little, a piece of shit young person that don't know nothing. Don't insult my intelligence. And you may buy me things or whatever the case is, but when the shit hit the fan, I still got to wait on my out. I still got my own money. So there's that too. So there is power issues that come in gay relationships too, not just the straights. As I said, yeah, he did hurt himself with a. Oh yeah, I forgot this movie is coming out today. Well, I'm gonna try to check it out. But we got the Drag Race finale, so that's another thing I'm worried about too. Team Spirit Crystal. I don't care what nobody say, but that's my girl. That's who I'm voting for. Um, I know she had to do her fitting this week for her actual Drag Race finale. The outfit that y'all see on the show is not the outfit she's gonna be wearing, because they did the old taping or whatever last year, but now they're gonna for the live finale, where they're gonna be doing in New York, where you see who the winner is. That's what that'll be the outfit she's wearing. It's a Ready or Not in the upcoming sequel. Oh yeah, Ready or Not. I thought it had good moments and all the stuff, but to me, I felt like Abigail was Radio Silence's strongest film. I still think they have a long way to go before they have one of those that knocks it out of the park. But for the most part, I say from beginning, middle, and end, I thoroughly enjoyed um, Abigail. It's definitely a movie that I will be buying when it comes out. Like that's definitely something I want to see. I would like to have as a part of my collection. But also the way that they ended Abigail, I ain't going, like I said, I'm not going to spoil it. I try to keep it as spoiler free as possible. I ain't tell you who died and who lives or whatever. I ain't say none of that. But the way that they set up Abigail, I have a feeling we may be getting a sequel. And another thing I forgot to mention too, watching Melissa Barrera in this role, I would definitely love to see her take on more of an action role. Like if they decide to reboot Underworld, I could definitely see her playing Celine, or even Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Make her Mexican. If I get mad when you change the ethnicity of somebody. But I could definitely see Melissa Barrera playing like a Buffy type character, like a vampire hunter or something like that. Like I would definitely like to see her with that as well. Oh yeah, I did like the VHS films. The last VHS anthology they came out with, I thought was really good. I saw that on Shudder, by the way. And speaking of which, I'll have to check Late Night with the Devil out on Shudder. Abigail won't go viral because Radio Silence can't do a PG-13 film. Blumhouse does and that's why a lot of times, no shade, Blumhouse's movies are shit. And it's not, I don't think it has to do anything to do with a PG-13 rating. I feel like you can make a really good horror movie that's from, PG-13, but you got to be clever. It can't be like, okay, because people think that, oh, if you do rated R, then that means, oh, yeah, you could throw titties in there or a butt shot, or it has to be uber violent, or it has to be a lot of profanity. And to me, it's like, you don't necessarily need all those things to make a good movie because I've seen plenty of PG-13 horror films that I thought was pretty good. But and it kind of and it is a throwback to a lot of those. This film, Abigail, is a throwback to a lot of those horror movies that I loved growing up, like the Monster Squad. Um, it's got very much a Goonies vibe. It's very much got the Lost Boys. Like Lost Boys is like one of my all-time favorite vampire horror movies. I just love the whole concept of that film. Joel Schumacher definitely did his thing. May he rest in peace. Did his thing on that film, and that movie is beyond homoerotic. So, but besides that, and the gay undertones and stuff that's in that film, um, just the whole thing about a vampire gang in California, I just thought it was like a really cool concept, and I just love that movie because it's like they got like kid vampire hunters, and I'm like, that's pretty cool too. So, and then plus it's got that whole '80s nostalgia, and you just look at the old fashions and stuff they wore back in those days, but it was like, yeah, this was cool, and then you look at it now, it's like, really, this is what y'all was wearing in the '80s. And then it was like, I dated older people when I was younger, and I've had a couple of boyfriends who were younger than me. Yeah, so I'm just like, look, people should like who they like. I'm not going to sit up here and listen to no damn people don't know shit about a relationship tell me that you're being groomed. Like, get the fuck out of here. Groom these nuts in your mouth. How about that? And then they said, like, but they're learning from their mistakes. They just probably need different writers than the team they had. Like, have a competition of the best script or combine elements from both scripts. Well, yeah, but I guess it's a lot of money with those things. But it's like, yeah, I feel like every studio or every production or whatever, y'all need to have your own production team and just have like no, not production, like a writer's room. And it's like, so that's what I would do. Like one of the things I want to do is I want to have my own production team and all that other stuff, and then developing movies of like, okay, I got this concept for this film. Here's the layout, the synopsis. These are the characters that I've come up with. Let's throw some ideas out there and see like where we can go with this. Like, where do you think we could take these characters? Who will be a good thing? All this other stuff. So that would be, let's brainstorm and all this other stuff. Okay, let's think more out of the box. Let's not be so predictable with the kill. Let's like really come up with cool shit. Because I'm all about collaboration when it comes to creating, be it songs or scripts. It's like, just let's all just kind of collaborate and work together with some stuff. And that's what you need. You need like a really cool team of people that you trust that can help come up with some things, because not everybody's a good damn writer. And and hello to you too from the Facebook. All right, so now let's move on and talk about Fallout. So I don't know if y'all been watching Fallout, but they released all the episodes at once, which I have to say I don't like when streamers do that. Netflix does that all the damn time, and then they wonder why their shows are forgotten by the second week. And but one of the things I do love is like, oh look, everybody's still talking about X-Men 97. I love that damn show. I'm just mad. The one thing, and I've told people this on social media, but I've never said it on this show, my issue with X-Men 97, the 30-minute thing, and then the fact that the seasons are short, I don't like that. I really feel like this show would do so much better if they gave us a 1 hour animated show. I'm kind of upset that Bo DeBayo's not coming back. Word on the street. Well, a friend of mine actually showed me a text that he got or a message from Bo DeMayo saying that he wants to work with him in a photo shoot. So I'm hoping they work that out once he's done with the drag race finale, and then he flies back to LA, which will probably be by tomorrow, whatever. But anyway, congratulations to Fallout, which I actually like the show, because Prime Video has renewed the show for a second season. And they announced that today. So the announcement comes after Variety reported that a second season was set to receive $25 million in tax credits by relocating shooting to the state of California. I'm like, damn, everybody be trying to leave California because California is so damn expensive. But the cool thing is that they said they're going to receive $25 million in tax credits by relocating shooting to the state. Which I think is good because LA be feeling like they lose, probably feel like they losing a lot of money to like Canada and these other places. I didn't even know that until I read earlier that Abigail was shot in Ireland. And then when you look at the like the castles and all the other stuff that they or the houses and stuff, the base of the aesthetics of where they were standing, I'm like, I can see it. It has that gothic vibe to it. But anyway, so based on the video game franchise of the same name, the series is set 200 years after the apocalypse. The official description states it follows the gentle denizens of luxury fallout shelters that are forced to return to the irradiated hellscape their ancestors left behind and are shocked to discover an incredibly complex, gleefully weird, and highly violent universe waiting for them. Now, it said Geneva Robinson Dware and Graham Wagner are the creators, executive producers, and showrunners. Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy executive produced via Kilter Films, which is under an overall deal at Amazon. And Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy, for those of you who are not familiar, they did the Westworld series that was on HBO Max, which I absolutely liked. And then I was mad that they canceled it. But I think because they were trying to bring more action and stuff into it, and people, I guess the headiness of Westworld was going over people's heads and they found the show boring. So they felt like, let's add a little Terminator type stuff up in there to kind of bring people in and watch it. And it didn't help and they ended up canceling it. But I like the show. I like the ideas and stuff behind Westworld. But unfortunately, it didn't last. So, Ella Purnell stars in the series along with Aaron Moten, Kyle McLaughlin. That's what I like to call him because his name is McLaughlin. Walton Goggins, who I absolutely love. I've loved Walton Goggins since Justified. That's like when I first became aware of Walton Goggins. And ever since he's been acting, I've been following his career. Moises Arias, Sarita Chowdhury. I've always loved her ever since she was in Mississippi Masala. Yeah, I'm taking it all the way back when she was the love interest of Denzel Washington. And they had an issue with the black man messing with the Indian woman. So I've always liked me some Sarita. Michael Emerson was in it. Leslie Uggams. I love Leslie Uggams too. Was that Leslie Uggams, the blonde woman in the she was also in The Color Purple. But wasn't she wait, and she was no, I don't think she was in The Color Purple. She was in Roots. I forgot about Leslie Uggams. Yeah. Leslie Uggams also, I think she also did the stories, like All My Children, one of them damn stories. But she also, yeah, isn't she the blonde woman in the Deadpool, I almost said Daredevil. Deadpool movies. I don't know why I'm thinking Daredevil. I think it's because I saw a picture of a friend of mine who took a picture with the actor who put Charlie Cox, who plays the Daredevil. But anyway, so as I was saying, I like the show. It does say that it ranks one of the 3 most watched titles ever on Prime Video, and the most watched season on TV on the platform since Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. But I will say this: I did not like the Lord of the Rings series. I thought that show was so boring. I thought also that y'all set all this stuff up with the Lord of the Rings series, and then when we finally got to the finale, I'm like, that's it. Like it just felt so anticlimactic. I felt like y'all edged me off. Throughout the whole season, and then I never came. So I was just mad. So I didn't like Lord of the Rings. I don't even know if they get into season 2. If they do, I don't care enough to watch it because I'm so pissed off the way y'all left season 1. But one of the other shows on Prime Video that I love is Reacher, which I heard the Trump supporters is mad because Alan Ritson, who was in that Gentlemanly Warfare movie, the one that Henry Cavill's in and was directed by Guy Ritchie, made a comment was saying, how are Christians running behind Donald Trump when he is the least Christian-like out of all the Christians? Which goes to show how hypocritical people are when it comes to religion. And people was mad. I said, well, what y'all thought? That Alan Ritson and Reacher was a rebel of the Trump supporting people, the insurrectionists? It's kind of like when they try to hijack the whole Punisher symbol. I don't know if y'all heard about that, but they tried to hijack the Punisher symbol because they felt like the Punisher was like them. And it's like, no, he's not. Like, y'all not read comics? So I say all that to say, congratulations to Fallout. I'm excited for season 2 and where they're planning on taking it. And if y'all haven't seen season 1, definitely check it out on Prime Video. Okay, so before we get to our next topic, sorry. Let me read some of the comments. It said, the guy I like is 60 and he's interested in what I like. No, my birthday is coming May 8th and is going to go deep dive on Taylor's new album. That to me is not fuck buddy or friend with benefits, but once more. Well, that's cool that you found you an older man that's interested in Taylor Swift. Good luck to y'all. You know, I'm inspired by other people's love. A lot of movies are filmed in Atlanta. Well, yeah, there's that. Is that where they filmed it? Because I never really paid attention to the credits. I do know that they filmed that show Shogun, which looks very much. They did a great job of transforming Canada into Japan. They did a great job with the cinematography and the set designs and all that other stuff. But I know they film a lot of stuff in Canada. I also heard that they're filming Scream 7 in Canada. I've been hearing a lot of stuff coming about the new Scream 7 movie. I haven't done anything on it because it's like every 5 minutes something new coming out, and I was like, I don't want to keep stringing y'all along with a bunch of this Scream news. I'll let Critical Overlord and the rest of them just keep doing 5 minute videos every other day about Scream until we get some concrete news. So I'll let them do that over there. Shout out to him and all the other people that do Scream stories. Um, I say even the new season of The Circle was filmed there. Yeah, they're filming everything in Atlanta. But I know California is probably look. You're going to have to find creative ways to get people to come back over there and start filming. Unless y'all want to keep losing stuff. But like they were saying that it's too expensive to film stuff in California. But if y'all giving people a $25 million tax cut or credit, shit, I'll go back to LA and film on a sound stage. The Fallout game is still pretty popular. Yeah, but you know, when it comes to video game adaptations, people have their reservations. But so far, I have to say, a lot of these video game adaptations on television have been doing a way better job than the movie ones. Because we'll get a video game adaptation in the theater, and a lot of times people are disappointed. But so far, you know, The Last of Us has done a phenomenal job in regards of transforming the video game world into the world of television. Because I've always said that. I said, and I'm always because some people try to be very dismissive of video games and stuff. And I'm like, there really is a concept there when it comes to, if you look at certain video games, I'm like, this would make a good series. You can't make it as a movie because you only got 2 hours these days. Movie times have extended a bit, like they go damn near 3 hours now. But the way I feel like things are going is that movies are trying to follow in the footsteps of television because TV gives you more time to explore the characters and build the world and all that other stuff. So that's why I think a lot of people prefer. So that's why I think like when I look at certain video games, I'm like, no, this will work way better on TV than a movie. Like I would love to see and possibly star in a cyberpunk um series. Like I've been hearing, aren't they supposed to be trying to develop something like that? I mean, I hope they are. If they do, that would make I feel like a really good concept for a TV show would be the cyberpunk the one that Keanu Reeves did the voice and all the other stuff that he was a part of. Then there was one with what is it? The Viking. Damn, I forgot I forgot the name of it. He's like a Viking type of character or whatever the case was. So yeah, they have and I also forgot about that too. They did the Last Airbender. Like the Last Airbender series is pretty good. We're getting 2 more seasons of that. Um I will agree with you that the last Mortal Kombat movie, even though the script was a little weak, I did like a lot of the action sequences that was in the show, in the movie. I did hear that they finished filming the sequel to Mortal Kombat, I think about a month or two ago. So we're a while away before we could even see a trailer and get a movie on it. Speaking of which, there's a movie that they just released a trailer for that I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer yet with damn, what's it called? Oh my god, I forgot the name of it, but it stars Josh Hartnett. It's the new movie with M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. His daughter got a new one coming out too. I think it's called Watchers. I saw the trailer for that yesterday. Um, and that looked pretty good. I had to Google Josh Hartnett, but he's it's called Trap. That was the name. That's the name of the movie. It's called Trap. That seemed like a really cool concept. I don't know if y'all seen the trailer, but definitely check that out after the show, not while we watch it, or while you watching me. So Trap is basically about this guy played by Josh Hartnett who takes his daughter to a concert. I forgot the girl's name is Lady something, not Gaga, because we already got her. But as he takes his daughter to a concert, this pop girl singing. They got 4 seats and everything. He decided to be there. He's like, I had to go to the bathroom. So he left her there to enjoy the show. he goes, he sees all these police and stuff, like guarding all the exits. He's seeing a lot of weird, suspicious activity going on in the country. He's like, what's going on? So he goes and pulls this guy over. Of course, there's always got to be one that run their damn mouth. So one of the guys who I think is working the concession stand comes over to him and he's like, you know that serial killer that's going around butchering people? This concert is actually set up as a trap to get him because they feel like he's been going around just killing random people and he's going to attack there. Not realizing that the concession person is telling the actual serial killer the tea. So I was like, that is a good twist. Now I know normally people be like, well, why are you revealing the twist of the thing in the thing? And I'm like, that's what y'all focusing on? The real gag is how does this killer, now that you know the twist, how does the serial killer get out of this situation? That's the thing. That's the whole concept of the thing. So that's what I'm excited about. And I think that comes out later this year. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that movie. The trailer looked pretty good too. But also the trailer to M. Night Shyamalan's daughter's new film, Watchers with Dakota Fanning, that looked pretty good as well. I saw the first Cube. There was this other movie, I forget the name of it, that's on Netflix. I think it's a Spanish horror film where it was like this guy who was in a prison and he has to kind of go up to each floor, and the higher up he goes is like all this luxury that he gets to eat all this food and all this other stuff. But he has to try to get his way up higher to, I guess, get out of the prison. That was actually a pretty good concept too. I like really cool concept movies, by the way. But anyway, so let's move on and talk about Madonna, who there's some tea that just came out that she is recording her upcoming celebration tour, which we all knew that this was coming. We knew that she was gonna release, there was going to be a concert film of the celebration tour, which I was actually hoping for because I love the concert and it was something I definitely want to keep. The only problem is I'm hearing is that she's revamping the whole show. So she's going to be in extensive rehearsals before she does the Rio show, and the show that we all paid money to see this summer, and then well, summer, fall, whenever. Because at one point we were supposed to see it in the summer, but then she got sick and almost died. And now the fall came and she's almost, at the tail end of the tour. So we have some news, and it says the Queen of Pop is expected to attract a crowd of more than 1.5 million fans for the Brazilian gig at Copacabana Beach on May 4th, with camera crews on standby to record the set. Now, according to the Sun's Bizarre column, the concert will air on local TV before being repackaged with behind-the-scenes extras before dropping on streaming platforms. Taking place in front of Belmont Copacabana Palace Hotel. No tickets are required, and admission will be on first come, first served basis. Though this is Madonna's biggest show yet, the concert will be broadcast live on TV Globo. So there's going to be a lot of people out there with wipes that's going to be waiting to get in that concert because it's a first come, first served basis. They're probably going to be like one at a time, click, 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 making sure that they have the clicker going on so that way they keep track of how many people are just going to be going up in there with this tour. Going to see this show, and it's going to be a packed house. And I'm sure that security is going to be out the wazoo to make sure that nothing happens to her, but they really going to have to do good on this whole on crowd control because it could get crazy out there. But I'm not surprised when I'm hearing stories about that she's playing a concert film for the final celebration tour gig. I do kind of hope that she keeps certain parts of the show in it. Like, I need that opening. The Nothing Really Matters, I feel like that was a strong opening. The first part of the show, I really like that part, like especially when she does Into the Groove and all that other stuff. I would say like keep all of that in there, but then you can go and you can add new costumes, new dance song, new choreography, new songs, switch it up. There is a part of the show that I do feel like it kind of slows down a bit. And I actually like when she was kind of flying over the audience when she did Ray of Light, but I don't think that's going to work because that's in an arena, and if she's doing something outside, I don't feel like that would work for that. So she's going to have to rework a couple of things, and then also the end of the tour, she always has strong openings and strong closings. I've always felt like Celebration tour did not have a strong closing song. So I'm really hoping that she's able to tighten it up and make it better, especially because this is going to be forever on, recorded. So this gives her plenty of time to actually rework this stuff because I feel like she's pretty much done with every aspect. And then she's got to do, with the big, big, big tour until she goes to Mexico City and then she goes to Brazil. So we're about what, maybe 2.5 weeks away from her going over to Brazil. And I did hear that one of my favorite songs from the Madam X album, Faz Gostoso, which, is a Portuguese song that she did with Anita. I was like, if you're going to Brazil, you need to do that song. So I'm hearing that she is going to be doing that song. I hope that that is true, because I'm like, that would be perfect. But Anita, girl, I know how you feeling. Allegedly, that she's kind of upset over the fact of, I guess, that Madonna didn't make it as a single or whatever. But was it really was it her, or was it Interscope? Because she was a part of that trash ass label who didn't know what to do with her. I always felt like Madonna's best work was when she was with Warner Brothers, and I'm glad she's back with them. So is it her fault, or is it she was at the mercy of this label, because all she did, she wanted to get into this whole Live Nation gig. So with the whole thing that was going on with Live Nation and the touring, and that's probably where her mind was that making the money from the tours, because people don't make money from music and streaming and stuff. So she was thinking about getting that tour bag and that merch bag, rather than focusing on the singles and stuff. And then the way her music has been handled over the years under Interscope has always kind of irritated me as well. So I say, put on your big girl panties, Miss Anita, and if Madonna calls, you better be here. Because this is an opportunity for people to actually pay attention to you and get up there. Hubbing the whole Maluma thing, I always thought that was a bad idea from the beginning, because I'm not really a Maluma fan. Yeah, he's cute to look at. Yeah, I'm glad he's somebody's daddy, like Bradley Cooper and Henry Cavill. Y'all all in that same category, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. Well, y'all knocking up women because y'all don't want them rumors to get out about y'all. But or y'all try to put those rumors out the pasture. You know the rumors. How you doing? How you doing? See, y'all going out here trying to knock up people because y'all want to continue to play that game. I know the tea about Maluma. I told her the same people I know who slept with Ricky Martin. Same sources what they told me about Mr. Pretty Boy Dirty Boy. But anyway, with that being said, I do think that Anita needs to get, and if Madonna comes out and does this song, Portuguese, of course, and half English, Anita better get up there, because I've been seeing a lot of stuff Anita's been dropping. I'm like, girl, that ain't it. So, like I said, if Madonna calls, you better answer. But anyway, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Okay, so yeah, it's going to Paramount Plus. I hear she's having one of the Mexico shows recorded too. But we'll see how that all works out, because I'm like, if you're having the Mexico, because what I'm wondering is, if she's doing the Mexico show and if she's having Brazil, does that mean that you're going to be combining everything from those shows into your show? And how is that all going to work? Because if you're giving two different shows, or you just changing up everything specifically just for the Mexico show and the Brazil show, is that just for them, that you're revamping your whole show, or part of it, or most of it? Or is it going to be the same show that you're doing, that you've been giving us for the past year almost? With all the shows you've done in the past, is that the same thing that's going to be coming over here with them? So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see when the thing finally ends up on Paramount Plus, because I know she has the Paramount Plus deal with when she had the Madam X tour, and then now she has this other one. And Felix says, well, remember what happened with Blonde Ambition? We got Japan, Barcelona, as they say, and Nice. Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk about Ashanti, who finally came out and admitted that her ass was pregnant, even though, child, we already knew, but congratulations, girl. She's pregnant with her first child, to rekindle her romance with Nelly. So it says, this new year of my life is such a blessing, full of love, hope, and anticipation. This is what she said. Motherhood is something that I've always looked forward to, and sharing this with my family, fiance, and loyal fans who have been so supportive of my career is an amazing experience. Now, the couple also told Essence exclusively that they're co-owners of Prove, along with founder Amy Beckley, PhD. It's a diagnostics company that offers at-home tests that help individuals looking to conceive make it happen faster and in a way that doesn't leave a large dent in their pockets. The medical grade tests help to bring it to light the issues that can keep people from being able to conceive. All of this is part of a new chapter in the lives of the stars. As noted, this will be Ashanti's first child and Nelly's fifth. He has a daughter, Chanel, a son, Cornell Jr., and adopted Sean and Sydney Thomas, the two children of his sister, Jackie Donahue, after she died of leukemia in 2005. Now, I do remember that he did adopt his sister's kids because she had passed away when she had cancer. I do remember them talking about that. And then at one point, Ashanti were like the it couple, then they broke up and then reunited in 2023. And then he confirmed the news after the two were seen attending events together and performing in a flirtatious way and following Ashanti carrying a clutch bag with she and Nelly's face on it at the Grammys last year. And so, I know some people trying to take credit and all other stuff like Ja Rule, I think at one point, and Fat Joe was trying to have, take credit for the fact that they got back together. And it's just like, and I think that's when they kind of reunited, is when they had like the verses between, I think, Fat Joe and Ja Rule, and then he wound up showing up because it was like, oh, when they do the verses and they got to find that ace in the hole or whatever, that they had to bring them together and that sort of thing, and that's when the things reunited. And sometimes it's like, you don't know what you got until it's gone. So whatever happened between them and they broke up and they kind of went their separate ways and they wound up in the room together and that energy was still in. It was like, you know what? We got unfinished business and let's make it work. Child, quiet as is kept. I believe their relationship more than I believe J-Lo and Ben Affleck's. I mean, at least theirs seem more authentic. J-Lo seemed like she just happy she got a peen to hold on to at night because that woman can't last 5 minutes without a man attached to her. But Ashanti, it's just like, you know what? She loves her man. He loves her. They don't be trying to shove their relationship down our throat. They go up, do their own thing. She's out here singing and doing whatever she's doing and doing her business endeavors of being an independent artist. And Nelly's out here doing his thing. And they get that. And they're not trying to, one is not trying to upstage each other or make it about them. So that's what I like about their relationship. So congratulations to y'all. And curious to see like what, and I tend to worry about women of a certain age when they start being pregnant and having kids and stuff, because especially when you're a woman of color, it is there's a lot of issues that you wind up having when you are pregnant and with trying to have a baby. And Ashanti is 43 years old and pregnant, so I've got my fingers crossed for her that she had, she gives birth to a healthy baby. Because you always know, like, especially when it comes to people of color and pregnancies and stuff, there's always a lot of issues more so than you have to deal with other women, like white women and stuff. So those are the things that's always got me worried. But I'm sure, like, with this whole thing that she's a part of, where you can take the at-home pregnancy test and stuff, and she's got a lot of good doctors and stuff around her, that she knows what she's doing. But all doctors ain't good doctors, because when we talk about Toni Braxton later on, that's a perfect example of, you have all the money and the access in the world, and doctors don't be giving a fuck about women of color. So we're gonna get into that topic later on. But let me check the comments. It said Fonz Gostosa went multi-platinum in Brazil. Anita is why it was a huge success in her home country. We all know, unlike the Maluma show, Madonna is in a better performance place. um Oh, you talking about when she did? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, you talking about when she did the show with Maluma, and she looked like a hot ass mess up there. Like, she didn't remember the words to her song. She looked like she was stumbling all over the place. That was her worst performance moment, because she felt like she was obligated to go out there and support Maluma with his live show when she wasn't ready. And I'm thinking can you please come out to my show? Can you please come out? It's like, child, I'm not in good performance mode. I've got a lot going on, but because you supported me on two of my songs for this album and possibly more, they probably worked on a couple more songs, but then they ended up coming back together when she did for the Madam X album. I don't know what she saw in trying to pick Maluma. I would have been like, why did you go with Bad Bunny? Like Bad Bunny, I would have thought would have been a much better choice than Maluma. I guess because Maluma's cute to look at, but he just didn't fit in what she was doing music wise. And I know people be mad at her with her collaborations, like she did Takesha, and then she did something. Didn't I hear she did a song with Peso Pluma, who I believe is also is he? I think he's performing at Coachella this weekend. He performed, I believe he performed last weekend, but he's performing this weekend too. I actually like Peso Pluma. I remember I started hearing him at first, like, what the fuck is this? But then I actually took, I actually took time to listen to his music, and I'm like, I kind of like him. I did hear that there was some people trying to take his life because of some of the political stuff that he was singing about in his music. They threatened. They said he better not come to Mexico and perform. I'm like, damn, is that crazy out there? But I wouldn't be surprised. Look, in freaking China, or is it China? Aren't they, didn't they try to aren't they executing some woman that embezzled like billions of dollars from what was it? Was it Beijing or one of them places? I gotta look that up. I totally forgot. But I heard that story, child. They be out here executing people when you steal money. Well, in America, you can become president when you do that. So maybe she need to get on a private jet and well, she probably locked up, so she ain't getting out. But I'm like, maybe she should have just fled here in the sort of asylum. They'll give it to her because all these crooks and criminals we got running this country. Jenna was 50 when she had her kid. Look at what happened. Her career took a sidestep. I'm like, it's okay to have a nanny and still be a present working mom, or take your kids with you on the tour. I mean, look, Madonna incorporated all her children. Well, majority. Well, first of all, the other two are old enough, but the four she got, the adopted children, it's like you can be homeschooled. Quiet as it's kept, I'd rather be homeschooled, and then just if I had Madonna's money, I would rather be homeschooled, and then but then again, Lourdes and um Rocco, I believe, went to prestigious school. She went to the high school. Lourdes went to the high school of performing arts. I'm not sure of Rocco's history because Rocco's been pretty private with his personal life. But I've always known about Lola went to the high school of performing arts in New York City along with Timothy Chalamet, who she dated. I believe that was like they were the first. I think that was the first guy she dated, and vice versa. So Kylie Jenner, he hit it. When it come to Lourdes, he hit it first. He got with her before he got with the Kardashian. But anyway, so um, yeah, but with the kids, I'm like, I would rather just, you know, and the world be my history book. So it's like, well, if I want to learn about like art and stuff, I could go to the Louvre. I don't have to read an art history book. I can go to the Louvre and look at art. Or if you want to learn about Italy, I can actually get on a private plane and fly to Italy and spend a couple of days there just in taking in the sights and learning about all the stuff. So to me, if I had the access that a Madonna has and I could just travel to different places and learn about the world that way, I would rather do that than have to read some damn book where there's some colonized version of history in it. I said Maluma fangirled over her like she was a god. It's rumored Peso Pluma is a Vogue judge from Mexico City. Well, I hope so, because you know what, Peso Pluma, he's a cutie. And I could, but child, could you imagine seeing a bunch of half naked men grinding? He probably did, but I don't know. Some people just be out here and it's like whatever. I go along with it. It is what it is, or they probably have to change it up depending on who it is. Christina Aguilera, really? Well, you know what? That would be her justice for the fact that MTV cut away from her when she got kissed by Madonna during that Hollywood remix. So, I would actually rather that than, I get to be a Vogue judge rather than, the fact that I still got second best and Britney got all the attention. Halle Berry was pregnant at 45 and the brat was 40, but the brat was going through her issues and stuff too, especially when she was, with child, and Judy was snitching on her, talking about all the stuff she was eating Wendy's while she pregnant, and she ain't supposed to be eating that at her age because you got to worry about preeclampsia and all that other stuff that comes with, high risk pregnancies and all that other mess. So, you got to be extra careful when you out here having children. But yeah, Halle Berry and a lot of them had them late. But I guess when you have the money and the wherewithal, you can do that. Okay, so let's talk about Since we're talking about ghost singers and things of that nature, let's talk about Jennifer Lopez, who is going through it, sort of, because she's apparently disappointed over those lackluster sales of her concert. So even after rebranding the tour, she's still struggling to sell them tickets. So, according to Us Weekly, it says Jennifer's very focused on her latest project and doesn't want bad press to get in her head. This is what an insider says, referring to Lopez's recent rough patch involving her This Is Me Now tour and record of the same name. Now, the source explains that Lopez, 54, has been through plenty of problems like this before and has gotten over them, adding, she moves on when things like this happens. Last month, Lopez raised eyebrows when she canceled several shows for her upcoming This Is Me Now tour after weak ticket sales. The stops included Nashville, Raleigh, Atlanta, Tampa, and New Orleans, as were supposed to take place between August 22nd through the 30th. But then I was reading something that the UBS Arena in Long Island added some shows after the 21st. So I'm confused. Why wasn't that mentioned in this article? But this says the musician didn't give any explanation at the time, and musician didn't give away any explanation at the time. And according to Ticketmaster, dates in the southern part of the U.S. were not rescheduled. Days later, Lopez posted an updated tour schedule with a revised line of updates. The shows will begin in June in Orlando and conclude in August with 2 New York City performances. None of the canceled shows are listed on the schedule. Lopez's This Is Me Now dropped in February and didn't live up to the singer's standards when it came to the charts. The record debuted at number 38 on the Billboard 200, which is the lowest of any of Lopez's albums have ranked. This Is Me Now is a follow-up to her 2002 album. The new record is her 9th studio album. Now, while a second source did tell us that Lopez is disappointed over the underwhelming response of her torn album, a third insider said she's not letting it derail her next ventures. Jennifer is extremely proud of all the hard work she puts into her projects, and Ben Affleck has been a huge support through it all, like he has a choice. Lopez and Affleck are currently house hunting for a fresh New York City pad because, she tired of y'all trying to say she ain't from the block, even though she ain't telling us what block she from. But, she tired of y'all trying to say she not a real New Yorker. So she trying to come back to New York so she can feel relatable. But Chad, you moving up to the Upper East or the West Side is not making you a real New Yorker. It just makes you like you just coming to the gentrified part. But anyway, I'm not expecting her to move back to the Bronx. Like, you'd be a fool if you are someone with that much money, success, and access that you will go back to the Bronx. Quiet as it's kept. If I lived and if I was from the Bronx and I had an opportunity to leave, I'd have fucking left. But then again, people seem to forget, like, when you leave, the whole goal of when you in the hood, you're not supposed to stay there. You're supposed to try to make moves to leave. That's what I was raised to believe, because when I was born in Brownsville, Brooklyn, yes, the hood part of New York City, like the hood. Y'all be talking about the Bronx, bitch. That Brooklyn y'all ain't got shit on Brownsville. But anyway, um, the whole goal of, like, when I was growing up as a child, the '80s in Brooklyn, the whole goal was we were always taught that, okay, when you from the projects, the whole point is to try to get your shit together, re-up your stuff, so that when you leave the hood and you go and strive for better. So I was always taught as a kid that you shouldn't just settle for bad obstacles or you're in a bad situation. If you want better for yourself, you got to work hard to make that happen. And yeah, because my parents is boomers, that way it worked for them. But I know with my generation, the zennials, the millennials, the zennials and the millennials, half generation X, half millennial, because I'm in the middle of those. The odds haven't been in our favor, that we're getting a lot of the, like, my parents and stuff were lucky enough to be able to have good jobs and have enough money where they could borrow from the bank and pay it back in order to get a loan to get a house and all that other stuff. But my generation, we all struggling out here still. And Gen X, I think millennials, Gen Z, they're all struggling to try to get a lot of that stuff because the housing market out here is crazy. But look, they saying that she looking for a fresh start, and that Ben's been keeping her grounded through all the highs and lows. But he always looks miserable. Maybe she's sucking a lot of them. But right now, I do know that she's filming Kiss of the Spider Woman in New Jersey. So she's busy with that. And then I guess once she's done with that, because the tour starts in June, right? We're almost at the end of April. May is right around the corner. I don't know how much time is required for her to actually sit down and rehearse, hire dancers and figure out what songs are going to be a part of the set list for the tour and what the stage is going to look like. Like, I guess maybe in between um filming this movie, she's having conversations with Benny Medina, and they're figuring out, or she's leaving it up to him and she just says yes or no. Me, I can't be like that. I got to be very hands on. I'm like, I need to see sketches. We need to figure out who we're going to have that's going to be the creative director and it's going to be the choreographer. Because I'm going to need more than one. I can't just have one person doing it. Like, who is the Jamie King of this tour? Who is, the person that's going to be choreographing and coming up with a lot of the ideas and stuff that you might be interested, you might not be interested in? Because and this is gonna be a greatest hits tour of sorts. Maybe she's trying to take a bite out of Madonna's handbook with the celebration tour and trying to rebrand it as a greatest hits situation. Because with Madonna's celebration tour, she doesn't like, when it comes to a lot of the stuff that she does, she don't like looking back and doing all the stuff. She always likes to move forward. But she managed to do a greatest hits tour that works for her, which is let's take a trip down memory lane of like when she first started out in the club scenes, the danceteria, and that sort of thing, and bring that into like, and then the career and where it's transcended since then. And it definitely works the way they set this up. So if it was a biopic of sorts of Madonna's life in stage form, this is basically what we getting. And if they ever decide to do an idea of why haven't, this is another thing too I've just thought about, sidebar, why haven't we gotten a Madonna Broadway sort of show similar to Michael Jackson and that sort of thing? Why don't we have that? That would be awesome. I feel like if somebody could stitch that together. But then with Madonna being alive and a control freak, we may not get there because she's gonna be a little too hands on with that. But you know what? Besides all of that, the fact of J-Lo being known as a see you next Tuesday and all this tea coming out with her on TikTok and all this other stuff and how she's treating the service industry, I feel like she's struggling with this whole era because she never really invested in her career and expanding on her fan base the way Madonna, Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Mariah, and countless other pop divas have. Like, I feel like in so many ways, J-Lo has always been a jack of all trades, but a master of none of them because she's always been so busy trying to, oh, I need to get that bag. I need to get, and that's what I've always felt about her. I never really felt like she did acting because she loved it. She did singing because she loved it. The singing just came because she wanted to capitalize off the whole thing of playing Selena, and people thought that that would be a good idea for her to jump into because she's not a good singer, but she can perform her ass off. Like, one thing you can't take away from J Lo is the fact that she definitely gives you a show. She definitely gets up there. She knows how to work a crowd. She definitely knows how to. She's a very good she's a good dancer, not the greatest, not on the level of, like, in my opinion, a Sierra or a Janet, but she definitely can hold her own with the rest, next to the best of them up on stage. She's definitely a show woman. So I'll give her that. But in regards of like the shows or whatever, like I really feel like she didn't invest in her music. I feel like the music has always kind of been like an afterthought. Oh, I just have to put out an album so that way I can um just to appease the label or whatever the case is. But her mind, to me, in my opinion, has always been on getting that movie bag and being an actor and that sort of thing, and running behind all these men and all this other stuff that she was doing. So I feel like that's what her focus was. And then, it seems like a lot of that hardcore fan base that you would get from like the Beehive or the Rihanna Navy or, the Barbs or whatever, they haven't stuck around because Jennifer Lopez really hasn't invested in her fan base that way. All you hear from her, oh, she's so pretty. Oh, she's okay. But what's behind all that pretty? Anybody could be, throw lipstick on a pig is still a pig, right? So it don't matter how much makeup you put on somebody or how pretty somebody is. It's like, okay, so once we get past the pretty part, what is behind all of that hair makeup that you have to offer your fan base? Or what makes you interesting? What makes you relatable? And to me, it's like, there's nothing relatable about JLo. She tries to play this whole, I'm real, I'm from the Bronx. She thinks that's enough to make her relatable. It's like, no, you still live the life of a woman who's worth $400 million, and it's surrounded by a lot of people, and you can't look at her, you can't say nothing to her. Be gone, peasants. Like, she gives very much that attitude. At least when Mariah does it, it's done, as playing up a diva role, and she's having us cackle, and we're not taking this shit seriously. She's being silly about it. That ain't really her. She's not really giving you full on bitch like the other girl does. But I also feel like with Jennifer Lopez, it's a case of imposter syndrome. I feel like she does not truly, because she's been told all her life she can't sing, she mad at anybody who can sing. So the Natasha Ray Moses and all these other people and the stories I was hearing about her treating her backup singers like, I'm like, sis, these weren't supposed to make you sound good. I think you should probably be kissing their feet instead of giving them the side eye or giving attitude, because how does that help you? I mean, if anything, they could probably, somebody might get real stink. You piss off the wrong person, and they cut down that backing track, and they have your real vocals come out. Because didn't that happen to somebody before? Like, there was a singer, I can't remember who it was, but I do remember there was once upon a time there was live audio of someone who sounded really bad that ended up circulating over the internet. And remember that cut too. There was a clip of Jennifer Lopez singing this song, a ballad with a piano or whatever, and she shocked the shit out of herself how bad she sounded. I'm like, girl, do you remember listening to your voice back? But anyway, so those are my thoughts on why I think that, the whole Lackluster tour sales and all other stuff. Let me know what you guys think on what is it about Jennifer Lopez that has turned people off from not wanting to support her in a live setting. Like, why people, and besides the fact that, she can't sing, because every time I post something about Jennifer Lopez, that seems to be the ongoing thing that everybody put in the comments. Oh, she can't sing, and she can't. We know that she ain't the best singer in the world. At least she has, I will say this, she's been putting a little more work and effort into her vocal ability, even though it still ain't there. But at least she's, she gets an A for effort. Anybody who, as I always said, like Yoda says, to do it, to do not, there is no try. So if you at least put in the work and try, I don't have a problem with that. But girl, stay in your lane. You're not the best singer in the world. Just be that pop girl. Just record your vocals, do a little yang yang, and that's it. Don't be trying to act like you Mariah. Or you could blow like Celine, because girl, you would never be that. You don't have a 5-octave vocal range. You barely got a 2. So just stick to rivers and the lakes that you used to. Own the fact that you're a great performer, not the greatest singer. That's one of the things I love about Madonna. Even though she's not the best singer in the world, she'll tell you. She's like, I'm not the best singer in the world, but the reason why I do what I do is because I have something to say. And she does have a lot to say. She's had a lot to say for 4 decades. Clearly, that's why she's still here. So it ain't got shit to do with the fact that she's not the best singer. And one of the things I will say this about Madonna is that at least she put in the work, especially around that time when she did Evita. She went in, did the vocal training, and that vocals was on point. Because if you ever watch the Reinvention tour, bitch, she was giving vocals down. Especially like it kind of had that whole theater type of vibe to her voice. Like that's what she was giving me, especially like her bravado. Is that when she was saying, it felt like she was, singing like she was on stage doing a Broadway show. And then when you hear, her vocals on in the Ray of Light album, it's very much like, she is emoting and that sort of. So I loved her tone when she did that album. So it's better to try than not try at all, is what I'm saying. But anyway, like I said, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Okay, so before we get to our second Jennifer Lopez story, because there's 2, um, we have some comments. So Felix says, "Oh, taco flavor. Oh, remember Taco Taco? That taco song from I fucking hate South Park. That taco song from South Park. I remember I was thinking about it yesterday, and I could not stop laughing. South Park, y'all some assholes, but I have to give it up to Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They always never cease to have me not cackle over some shit. That taco song that they did with Jennifer Lopez, that shit will always live rent free in my freaking mind. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, if you haven't heard it, definitely look it up on YouTube. It is a cackle. But yes. So there's that. But anyway, and it says an Accuse of having a major role in the, oh yeah, I did hear that story about that. I did post that on my social media. I don't know if I posted my Instagram, but I did see it on the neighborhood talk. There was this audio going around about a TikToker who did a video on Jennifer Lopez, and Jennifer Lopez's people apparently had her TikTok taken down or something or another because she did a video on her, and that was how she was getting her money because that was part of her livelihood. I guess doing TikTok videos, and she wasn't able to get the money. She was using the money to help with her cancer. She had stage 4 cancer, something or another, and she was using the money to fund her medical situation. And she said in the video, or in the, I think it was an audio, but or video, she, regardless of what it was, she said it. She said, "If I die, then it is on her." So Jennifer Lopez out here killing people. All right. Mess. They call her the Puerto Rican Ellen, allegedly. Um, no, she's worse. I do agree. So Janet needs a new choreographer with the Madonna tour. It felt like well, child, don't even get me started on Janet. You know, I live for Janet and I love Janet and I love everything that Janet stands for. But girl, you've been doing the same two-step for 3 decades. It is time to give us a little something different. Or at least, I understand like a lot of people like that nostalgia and stuff, but it's just like I shouldn't go to pay money to go to a concert and know what to expect when I walk in the room. Like, don't get me wrong, I live for the I live for signature moves, and people have those. Like Jennifer Lopez in that stupid cane whenever she does Get Right. Like she has her signature move that she does, and I'm like, okay, sis, whatever. But give us a little something different. That's why I like artists who switch shit up. Even Beyonce. One of the things, Beyonce, who I feel like is the one who is the proper person that Madonna can pass the torch down, because Beyonce is a girl who is a student of the pop divas. Like she'll always take the time to really study her the people before her, or when it comes to any kind of genre she wants to take on, she takes the time to actually study and learn about the history of that sort of thing, especially with the whole country music thing, which I don't think I posted. I don't think I even brought that a part of the show, but there is a documentary or something that's coming out about I think Cowboy Carter. Is that what it is? There's something I think it's coming on HBO Max or something or another with Beyonce, and I cannot freaking remember the name of it. Oh, it's called Call Me Country. And it's supposed to be on Max, and it's supposed to feature some celebrities such as Brothers Osborne, who I believe one of the guys from Brothers Osborne came out as gay and is in a relationship or whatever, because I do remember hearing that story. Texas Hold'em banjo player Rhiannon Giddens, Reese Palmer, who is an amazing country music singer. If you haven't heard her stuff, definitely check her out. Aaron Vance and Denisha, as well as that, as well as analysis, I think is the word, from a slew of cultural critics and country music experts, including Torre and co-directors. First of all, Torre was going in. Did y'all see that clip earlier? He was going in on Drake in this whole situation, say he will lose against Kendrick Lamar, and did a whole situation on that, because apparently there's this beef going on with Drake and Kendrick Lamar, but I was like, I still don't care what's going on between them, because Drake is so like. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind slobbing that knob after seeing that P.Inc. I know a lot of people say, they don't, it's a noodle. Well, I'm sure when it get hard, it do a whole lot. So I wouldn't mind putting his meat in my mouth. But other than that, Drake do be giving me cornball vibes. But look, if there were opportunity presented itself for me to give him a sloppy toppy, I would not turn it down. Just saying. Look, I don't have no problem, no qualms, revealing my shiznit. But anyway, what the hell was we talking about again? Oh yeah. Child, the reads on Miss Janet, it said Janet has been doing the same choreography for 30 years. She just does the video choreography. But yeah, it's like, yeah, because I don't want to be in the audience like, yeah. That's like, okay, we done seen that shit 50 million times. But I love my Janet. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing this album whenever it comes out, because you did make the announcement that there's an album coming. But and then she had like last year, I was so disappointed with that talk, because I'm like, wait a minute, girl, you out here with this simple little stage and 4 backup dancers, and you doing just a greatest hit situation. You might as well just sign over doing a deal in Vegas and call it, just do a residency, because this, what you give your audience, ma'am, do better. Especially because you're an icon. Like like, is it wrong for me to expect to have high expectations for my legends and my icons in the music industry. I shouldn't expect you to continue to give me the same thing over and over. That's why I respect girls like I said, Beyonce gave us something completely different on her Renaissance tour, and at this stage of her career. And then you have um Madonna constantly reinventing herself in regards of her stage choreography. Like even when she does Vogue or whatever, she switches it up. Like you'll get the signature moves or whatever, but you get something different every time. And there's no reason why Janet can't give that. Same thing when you look at so many other, legends and stuff in the music business. Kylie Minogue is always switching her stuff or remixing her stuff. She'll give me the "Can't Get You Out of My Head" choreography, but it don't stay the same though. There's signature moves that's in there, but you find ways to make it exciting and interesting. I shouldn't just be like, okay, yeah, we're back at it and going through the motions, and I'm a robot and just give you the same move. No, switch it up. Give us something different. You owe your audience that, especially if they spend all their hard-earned money. People are on hard times now, especially with all this other stuff, with these stadiums and arenas asking so much from these people with the concerts and stuff. It's like it's a lot of money. She never really had a backlash until now. J Lo is an imposter syndrome, just with less talent, like the original Dollar Tree version of Madonna. But I thought that was JoJo Siwa. But then again, Lil Tay, you the last one to be talking about somebody a Dollar Tree Madonna when, girl, you barely have any talent. At least JoJo has some sort of talent. She's a good dancer. So what do you have to fall back on besides being out here faking your damn death and shit? Yeah, we ain't forget about that. She doesn't. Well, she don't care about. That's because she don't care about nobody but herself. It said, "Rest in peace after that savage diss by Lil Tay, Miss JoJo See, but how can any girl recover being called Dollar Tree as Madonna?" Whatever. I just didn't get that whole back and forth. I'm like, this is a children's beef. Say that shit for Sesame Street. Because it makes me think of Glitter when they said they had when Silk Gang with the vocal turned down. Wait, what I meant? Wait, was that in Glitter? First of all, I have not seen Glitter in so long. I don't remember that movie. It's bad. I would rather see Paula Abdul perform "Forever Your Girl" album on stage than another Janet show. She'll reinvent the tracks and do new and um Paula is an older version of Britney. We'll say that. And that's in regards to, you will never hear a sound ever come out of Paula Abdul singing live. All that is lip sync, because I'm like, with all of that going on that stage, you really expect her to sing live? And Paula was not the best singer. She's another one. That was a studio singer, or just a dancer who was an okay singer. But anyway, let's get to our second Jennifer Lopez story, because the ex-girlfriend of Ryan Guzman, who plays Eddie on, or maybe you don't know, he plays Eddie on 911, is speaking out on, Hollywood nuisance Jennifer Lopez. So, oh my God, I don't think I wrote her damn name down. I said her name was Iglesias. The girl's name. I didn't put her name down. That was my fault. But anyway, the ex-girlfriend of Ryan Guzman, who was a Maxim model, has come out against Jennifer Lopez. She said she made my ex, oh my God, pretend that he was single to promote the movie they was in. And that was The Guy Next Door, I believe was the name of the film. So it said the publicists, both of them called me. So they were at after parties together, like holding hands and stuff to promote this. Although she did not name Guzman, who's 36, and she's 36 as well. She didn't name him, but she said that she dated and walked red carpets with the Texas-born actor at the same time that he was doing press junkets with Lopez, now 54, for her movie. In the thriller romance, Guzman played the If You Had My Love singer's much younger love interest. Page Six reported ahead of the movie's release in January 2015 that the co-stars had been spotted cozying up to one another at a Golden Globes after party, just as Iglesias said was part of the plan. Now, at one point, Guzman moved back on the couch, and then he put his arm around Jennifer, an insider claimed at the time, adding they also left together. Reflecting on the situation, Iglesias added, on the podcast, it was just like that sucks, before realizing that Lopez even pretended she didn't even know whether Guzman had a girlfriend in real life. So you know what? She didn't know her like Mariah don't know Jennifer Lopez. So they got something in common, correct? So in a clip of the segment in question from the now defunct talk show, Ellen DeGeneres asked the I'm Real child, ain't shit real about J-Lo, singer, whether there was anything going on between her and the hunky actor, to which she says no. However, when pushed further about whether Guzman had a girlfriend at the time, Lopez responds, I think he might. I'm not sure. I know he did. I'm not in his business like that. DeGeneres, now 66, then quips, not yet, to which the Selena star cheekily adds, you never know. Well, you want to know something? You thinking that her people played that up? Because what I'm thinking of what this was, they were like, the people behind the scenes didn't want them saying that they were in a relationship, because at the time, J-Lo was hunching Casper Smart, and this girl was in a relationship with Ryan Guzman. And the fact of the matter was, because the movie was not good at all, it was trash. And they knew they had a stinker on their hands because Madonna, J-Lo loves doing these stupid rom-coms or these Lifetime movie of the week type thrillers that go straight to that goes straight to theaters, because she always picking something corny to star in. Then they probably were like, you know what? Let's play up that y'all in a relationship to get people interested in going to the movies and see it. It didn't work. Probably because Ryan wasn't really trying, I guess, hard enough to play it up. And then I'm thinking that the publicist or whatever behind the scenes, I need y'all, to bring this up on the show so that way it could drum up press for the movie. So Ellen played it up because that's the game that they play in a lot of these situations. They tell you not to ask certain questions, and then they be in your ear being like, okay, now Ellen, when you go out there and you go and you interview J-Lo, these are the questions you need to ask, and we need to keep prying and prying and pushing and pushing and pushing to see how she reacts. And so Iglesias did point out on the No Chaser podcast, he said, we've met, and noting why J-Lo would have confirmed Guzman was actually a taken man. He said, we freaking met. What do you mean you don't know if he had a girlfriend? We met. You squeezed the shit out of my hand. I'm still black and blue. The Guy Code alum further revealed that she was disappointed when Guzman first introduced her to Lopez at an award show because it seemed the Enough star had been trying to intimidate her, which is something that we've been hearing a lot about Jennifer Lopez when it comes to a lot of these videos that have been popping up all over TikTok, that she likes to intimidate people that she's threatened by. And one of the things about Jennifer Lopez, I think she's intimidated by women who are prettier and who are better in her in a lot of ways. And a lot of people tend to get that confused because they think, well, why would Jennifer Lopez be intimidated by some regular girl, whatever? She has so much money. She has so much this. You really think having money and access that makes you better than somebody? That's the classism shit gets on my fucking nerves, especially when it comes to a lot of people when they try to judge situations or they think, well, she got more money. She got more awards. She got more. Okay, but you having a plethora of things, material things, does not make you feel like you're a better person, especially if you ugly on the inside. If you ugly and you insecure about a lot of things, how does that negate the fact that money and all that stuff doesn't solve those issues? It really doesn't. And when people are mature enough to understand that, then you can come and engage in this conversation. But for those who want to just shallow it down to, oh, but why would whenever they want to bring up how much money somebody has in a bank or a status or fashions or this or that? Okay, but what the fuck does that got to do with the price of tea in China? That's what I always want to know. You having more money, you having more access, you having more all these things doesn't make you better than anybody. She had the one thing that you wanted, and that was Ryan Guzman. Because clearly you was intimidated. And we've heard stories about how Jennifer Lopez, whenever she see girls prettier than her, how she gets. But anyway, because quiet as is kept, you came to New York, there are plenty of girls that are badder than Jennifer Lopez. There'll be people that be looking at her like, oh, she got this big ass, whatever. You look at Jennifer Lopez's ass, that shit is average. I have seen badder girls in New York who got way bigger asses than Jennifer Lopez and didn't have to go to a surgeon to get it. I'm not saying Jennifer Lopez had to go to a surgeon. There's a lot of girls out here who's getting them shots to get them asses. But there's some girls out here that I've seen that are gorgeous, beautiful Spanish girls, small waist, big ass, and then have to go to a surgeon to get said body parts or spend hours in the gym. Some of that shit's natural. So she said that I always felt she was someone to aspire towards. Iglesias, who like Lopez is Puerto Rican American from New York. She said she was someone who anything she wanted to accomplish, she did. She met me and she looked me up and down and she gave me the hardest, firmest handshake in the world. I was like, ow, I'll have my hand back. Jesus. Iglesias says she then thought to herself after the uncomfortable meeting, that's sad because you're someone I love, like it shouldn't be like that. Despite Lopez leaving a bad taste in her mouth, the ex-MTV personality agreed to play along with the booty singer's alleged PR relationship with her then boyfriend until he started coming home late. I was okay with that until I wasn't okay until, coming home at 2 in the morning. I don't know. Is what she said. So this kind of made me wonder, do you think they hunch? I mean, I wouldn't put it past her. I mean, even though she was messing with Casper Smart at the time, and quiet as it's kept, there was stories about Casper Smart being into girls with a little something extra, if you know what I'm saying. I think you do. Girls who still got their man's toolbox between their legs. In case you didn't understand what I was saying. So apparently, Casper liked the T-girls. And Jennifer Lopez was out here doing what she was doing. But I wouldn't put nothing past her. She probably did throw it back on that boy and turn him out at the time. And they had a little, a little something, something. Because, Jennifer Lopez is good at hopscotching on different P.Inc whenever she wanted. And she can call it, I love love, or she wants. It's like, no, you like power. And you like getting with men who you feel like can give you what you need at the time that you need it. I don't think you like love. I think you misconstrue um, not getting enough attention and stuff from your parents, which she did allude to in that documentary as that being love. Because I don't think she knows what real love is because she never got it from Guadalupe and David. But anyway, so this happens a lot in the industry with a lot of celebrities. They're paired together to make it like they're a couple when they're not, because of 9 times out of 10 that male actor is gay. Or I don't think that's in Ryan Guzman's case. I've actually met Ryan years ago when I was in LA. Very good looking in person. So I did meet him a couple of years ago, like maybe 5 years ago when I was in LA. So he is very good looking and up close and in person. And tall too. So yeah. So anyway, I think that's all I got to say on this situation. It's just I'm not surprised by Jennifer Lopez being insecure and all this other stuff and trying to intimidate another girl. First of all, she met the right one, because if she, if it was anybody else and she did that squeezing the hand thing, she probably been picking her lips up off that damn floor. And I don't care how much entourage or power, or whatever the case you have, but you're gonna do that to the wrong person, the girl gonna knock your teeth in the back of your throat. So she picked the right one. And I don't think J-Lo can fight. I don't. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Okay, so yeah, it was the boy next door, child, and it was like he was forget what the movie's about, but I know it was a younger guy who had wasn't her neighbor, a younger guy who had a thing for his much older neighbor or something or another. It was very Lifetime movie of the week. A kid who was in the movie told a story about. Oh yeah, I did. Is that the one where the kid was I think he was a student and they had a break and she was sitting in a chair outside and she turned her head over and she said a name and then she said the wrong name and he corrected her and she goes, oh, and then went back to whatever she was doing. I just want to know what it is. What is it like? Is it so hard to be nice to people? Like, I don't understand people who got to be fake nice. Hey, how are you? Oh my God, I'm so down to earth. But then it's like when the cameras is off, you a raging bitch. Like, I just don't understand it. And I'm not just saying with her. I'm just talking about with people in general. Like, I just don't understand how people could just like. It doesn't hurt to just be nice to people instead of being an asshole. Like, just don't be an asshole. It's not that hard to not be a dick. But some people get off on it. Anyway, so let's move on. And what are the topics we got to talk about? Okay, so let's talk about Rihanna, who continues to gaslight her fans on this damn new album, because I think it's been almost 8 years since she released Anti. But anyway, so she shared another update on her long-awaited next album, saying the songs she's been working on are so good. Now, according to Billboard, it says, while journalists, fans, and pretty much everyone else has been asking Riri when we can expect a long-awaited follow-up to her smash 2016 album Anti, The singer continues to give vague, sometimes contradictory answers about the in progress project. Now, speaking to ET on the red carpet on Wednesday, April 17, London launched event for the Fenty and Puma Creeper Fatty Earth Tone sneaker. Ree was asked if she and partner ASAP Rocky might pull a Beyonce and include their sons RZA and Riot on her upcoming next album. While journalists, fans, and pretty much everyone else has been asking Rihanna when we can expect the longer way to follow up to her Smash 2016 album, the singer continues to give vague, sometimes contradictory answers about the in progress. Oh wait, I just realized something. I think I read that twice. But anyway, so she said it's up to them. This is what she said of her 2-year-old firstborn with Rocky and their second son, who was born in August. She was once again also a bit vague about when we can expect a firm release date from the collection, saying, I want to know too. Then, however, after recently suggesting that she hasn't really started work on recording songs for the album, Riri made it sound like she actually got quite a few tracks to choose from, saying, I already got stuff that I feel like I can make hits out of. Me and Rocky are really trying to figure out who's going to use what because it's so good. So does that mean that she's saying that the songs, the reference track that she got, because we know Rihanna don't write, um, the songs that she was sent from the label and stuff, she's like, oh, these sounds like I can make hits out of these. And now she and Rocky are trying to figure out, okay, so does he get this for his album? Does she get this for her album? How they're gonna work this whole situation out. Now, they say in a recent chat with Interview Magazine, the singer said that she had a lot of visual ideas so far, which isn't typically how she starts her creative process. She says, it's weird. My brain is working backward right now. I usually have the music first, and the music leads me into all of these visual opportunities, and now I'm having all of these visuals. The bad news, though, is that Rihanna told the mag that she doesn't have the songs to accompany those visuals, but hopefully they'll come soon. Maybe the visual ideas are leading me to the songs I need to make. And this is in February. Rocky further muddied the waters, teasing that at the time that his partner was working on the album. So we keep hearing different things. Are you in the studio making the music? Are you not in the studio making the music? I know she's busy getting, hunching and getting pregnant and having kids. And I get all that. You want to have your life or whatever the case was. But I feel like at this point, either release the music or announce your retirement, because I feel like you are gaslighting your fans at this point. Like if you're really working on music, just say that's what you're doing and that's what you're working on. And my thing is, if I've got visual ideas or I have stuff that I've come up with, but the music isn't there, then it's like, maybe she's worked with enough writers and enough people over the years that she could pull in those people that she can trust, that she can garner a hit out of, and be like, I have this idea about some stuff. And people always assume that you have to be that you should get a songwriting credit if you write a song. And my thing is, if I can come up with a concept, then or reference or whatever the case is, and I participated in the creative process of this record, then I feel like you should get a writer credit, because you came up with the concept, you came up with the idea, you work with the writers, and not everybody who makes music is a writer. But if you are someone who is interacting and sits in the room and actually helps conceive a lot of these songs, instead of just being like, oh, send me the stuff, and if I'm gonna sing on it, okay, so I automatically get 50%, and then everybody else got to figure out how to cut up these pieces of the pie. I'd rather that. But then again, if you're first starting out and you got a Beyonce or somebody big on that label that's going to put your name out there in a way, then I probably would take a smaller cut in the beginning. But that ain't going to be the whole thing on all the time. Now, if it leads me to working with other artists down the road and I be able to make the money, then I can fall into that. But like I said before, I just feel like, Rihanna, if you're really working on these albums or whatever, then work on it, figure out what you're doing, and that's that. Because you already know that people are going to constantly ask you about this. So when are we going to get a new album? When are we going to get a new album? When are we going to, it's going to be like that. And I'll just be like, you know what, right now, excuse me, I'm focusing on this brand, this Fenty brand. And that's where my primary focus is. It's not necessarily on the music, especially when, she had to constantly pump out albums every year so she can get out of her contract or whatever the case was, and probably had a shitty deal and lost a lot of money. And she was able to make so much money from, the endorsement deals and starting her own brand. So why would you want to come back to music? But I guess like maybe the only reason why she would want to come back to music is not even because of the the politics, the industry politics, and all that stuff is because of her fans. Like she wants to give her fans some music and for them supporting her. But we'll see. So I'm not holding my breath on this record, but I'm just saying, like, let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think we ever gonna get a follow up to Auntie? I'll eat my words if I do. I mean, if we do, but and maybe we will get an album down the road. But I just feel like she's just gaslighting her fans at this point. Okay, so we have some comments, and it says, "I don't think Ryan Guzman would date a J Lo. He looked uncomfortable during promotion, like he did a movie. Why do the extra mileage? I don't even know much about him. I know he has a kid with. I forgot he had a kid with somebody. But who's name? Wait, which Naomi? But I do know. Look, the only thing I know about Ryan Guzman is the fact that he's on 911, the original show with he's caught up in that whole situation with oh my god, what's his name? With Buck, which I did see a story about that earlier. I think I meant to incorporate that into the show. um about the whole Buck situation where it said that Oliver Stark wants to keep exploring Buck's bisexuality on 911. I did want to add that to the article or whatever, and it said that I was trying to say if there was a quote. Oh yeah, he said something that's always touched me emotionally more about anything in my life is when people are able to live as their authentic selves. This is what he told Out magazine. It's something that has always, for whatever reason, brought a tear to my eye. When I see somebody living openly and proudly as who they are, it has always really affected me. And then he said he was getting emotional talking about it. So it says, so to get to know, to now go through this storyline and hopefully help people feel more seen, that really means a lot to me. So, yeah, there was an article that they did over on um, Our Magazine. So kudos to him. So that's basically where I pretty much know him from. So, but anyway, it says Scott, but that's it. Oh, Naomi Scott. He had a kid with her? Wait, wasn't she in the Power Rangers movie? He refused to do social media, saying he just wants to treat it like a job. And if he wants to leave, he would have the right. Well, that's probably why he's like, you know what? I'd rather just play a supporting character on a TV series, a hit TV series that, he's getting a steady income from. And to me, there's, I'd rather do that too. Like, just like, you know what? I'd rather just stick to being in that world rather than having to be the major movie star and have all those responsibilities. It's an easy, it's an easy little check. It's like I go in, do my little scene, get my check, and go home. Not everybody wants to be, Ryan Gosling. Not everybody wants to be Brad Pitt. Not everybody wants to be the big movie star. Some people are just like, you know what? I like acting, but I don't want to deal with the bullshit and the politics. And I'm not mad at people who don't want to deal with all of that. It's just they just want to live their dream and get their check and do a series, 6 months out of the year. And so I think Rihanna has waited way too long. Who you telling? Like it's almost a decade. It's like, sis, like this gap is about as long as the amount of albums you put out in a year. Like she put out 8 albums back to back in a year. Each year she was dropping a new album. And now it's just like you took this long 8-year what gap to release music. And I do think she should have put out one around last year during the Super Bowl and capitalized. But she was pregnant at the time, so she probably felt like I couldn't promote it. But yeah, I feel like within the next year or two, she really has to step her pussy up and put out this record. If not, then just retire. And we'll just accept the albums that we got and live through those. So there's that. But anyway, let's move on and let's talk about Pharrell and P.Inc, who are caught up in a legal dispute. So P.Inc has filed a legal action against Pharrell Williams over his efforts to secure a trademark on the term P.Inc, that's P.Inc, that would be P Incorporated. A case that comes just weeks after Pharrell was hit with a similar branding dispute case by his longtime friend and music partner, Chad Hugo, the other half of the Neptunes. So, in an action filed Thursday at a federal tribunal, lawyers for P.Inc, real name Alicia Moore, claim that the trademark Pharrell is trying to register is so similar to her stage name that it's likely to cause confusion, mistake, and/or deception among customers who see it. This reminds me a lot of the situation between Kylie Jenner and Kylie Minogue, where Kylie Jenner thought that she was going to go up in there and try to trademark that name, and the icon with the talent known as Kylie Minogue was like, "Oh no, bitch, you not." and put a kibosh on that. I was like, no, you are not trademarking a name that I had long before. You was even a thought between your mama and your other mama, Bruce and Kate. I mean, Caitlyn and what the hell's her name? Chris Jenner, Pimp Mama Chris, Cootie Cuties, and loins. So you're not going to try to get through. You're not even trying to get around that mess. So the case was filed by P.Inc.'s company Lefty Paw Print, which owns numerous trademark registrations to her name against Pharrell's company PWIP Holdings. Reps for Pharrell did not immediately return a request for comment. The new legal battle comes less than a month after Pharrell was hit with the same type of trademark action by Chad Hugo, his longtime producing partner and childhood friend. Hugo claims that Pharrell is fraudulently seeking sole control over the trademarks to the Neptunes, the name of their prolific 2000 songwriting partnership, even though they have always split the group's assets. At the time, Pharrell's rep said he has been surprised by Hugo's allegations and that his Neptune's trademark applications have been solely designed to make sure a third party doesn't get hold of the trademark. Hugo's lawyers rejected that explanation, calling the trademark applications a land grab in a long simmering dispute. An issue with the new case is an application to register P.Inc. as a federal trademark, which his lawyers say he intends to use for a wide range of services, including promotional marketing services in the field of music. A trademark registration is what allows brands to place the R symbol next to their name and makes it easier to sue people who use it without permission. The application was filed last year by PWIP Holdings LLC, Pharrell's company that also owns such trademark registrations for his band NERD, his Miami-based Good Time Hotel, and numerous other brand names connected to the superstar. So, I don't like this because they said that they ain't the only thing too, because this said even before P.Inc. filed her case on Thursday, Pharrell's application for the P.Inc. trademark had already drawn legal opposition from another entity that has prominently used the name P.Inc. for its goods. That would be Victoria's Secret, which since 2002 has sold a line of pink lingerie and apparel. The retail giant filed its own case against Pharrell's company last month, making similar arguments that Pharrell's trademark could be confusingly similar to its own name. Opposers' use of the Victoria's Secret P.Inc. and P.Inc. marks predates applicants' filing date. The company lawyers wrote on March 21st, filing applicants' mark is highly similar to and is the phonetic equivalent of opposers' P.Inc. marks. So I feel at this point, what Pharrell needs to do is you need to come up with a newer name or whatever that you need to market. Don't you got enough goddamn marketing names or whatever the case is that you got already? I guess what he's trying to do is come up with something that doesn't have him attached to having to give anything to Chad, which he's already having to give half his assets, so he needs his own thing. Well, you need to come up with something else. Come up with Williams Incorporated, Pharrell Inc., something or another. Change it up, do something. But you trying to do P.Inc. and P.Inc. and trying to play on words. First of all, pink is a color. Nobody should be able to trademark a color. There's just certain words and things in the dictionary that should not be trademarked. Like we heard so many people try to trademark certain phrases and stuff. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. First of all, you're not trying to gain ownership over terms and phrases that you actually may have colonized from other people. Because we've seen that happen over the years too. So I don't agree with the whole idea of people coming in and trying to take certain words that we use in our everyday lives and trying to trademark them. So I agree with P.Inc. and I agree with Victoria's Secret. No, you need to get a little more creative, Pharrell, and come up with something else. Because I've noticed a lot. Pharrell, you've really been pissing me off in the way you've been handling a lot of your business. Look, P.Inc. tried to, not P.Inc. Khalees tried to tell us about Pharrell being a low down dirty dog when it comes to his shady business dealings and things of that nature. So well, I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops. But what I'm hoping is that Pharrell just not gonna be able to use the P incorporated P.Inc. play on words as a phrase or whatever the case was, just so you could be able to gain money. Because P.Inc. has been using that name since the beginning of her career, which has been what, over almost or all over 3 decades. Like she's been famous since what, 1999. So that's what, like over 20 years. So um I don't think he should be able to have the rights to use that, especially when other people have been using it, and you're gonna take away opportunities. As I said, similar to the whole Kylie Jenner, Kylie Minogue situation. But yeah, I'll keep you guys abreast of the story as it develops and see what happens. All right, so let's move on and let's talk about Shyne, who's finally admitting what we've all been saying for years about him taking the fall in that 1999 New York City club shooting. He finally admitted it. He said he was 100% the fall guy in the 1999 New York City club shooting, for which he did 10 years in prison. And while the shooting victim is pointing the finger at Diddy, Shyne isn't quite going there. Now, according to Hip Hop DX, the rapper and politician who serves as the leader of Belize United Democratic Party addressed Rubin's bombshell comments during a news conference in his home country on Wednesday, April 17th. It opens wounds when you hear the victim saying it was Diddy that shot her. That is what is most remarkable. This is what he began. Shyne then referenced producer Little Ross S.A. lawsuit against his former label boss, in which he claimed that Diddy bragged about bribing witnesses and jurors in the criminal case. This is what stands out to me the most because I've done my best to put it behind me to move forward, but it certainly reopens the wounds. Well, I'm glad you could put it behind you, but what about the victims? Because at the end of the day, yeah, you went to jail but you say you didn't pow Miss Mamas, which I don't believe you did. And then the girl, I believe, said that she would be willing to open up like her face with him because I think she still got the bullet fragments up in there for him that she wants him to reopen this case. He said, I've been saying this all along. Everybody knew all along that I was the fall guy, but my political enemies and detractors tried to make me into this criminal. But everyone knew that I was a young kid that took the fall. I'm just saying that I maintained my innocence all this time. I said I was defending myself. I didn't get into who did what, but the victim is telling you who did what, which basically is saying that the victim is correct. The victim is telling the truth in regards of that Diddy did pow her and it hit her in the face. That allegedly Jennifer Lopez was the one that snuck in the gun because they felt like at the time nobody was going to check her. Nobody was going to check her and frisk her because why would they? What would she possibly? Why would she possibly have the gun? She didn't have the look of like a girl that would slither a gun in between her coot lips. Her pussy lips, because that's probably where it was. I don't know. She probably came in with a clutch. I don't know what she came in with, but apparently she managed to bring the gun in there and pass it off to Diddy, and Diddy was pow-powing people up in there and shooting because apparently the people that Shyne knew was up in there and didn't like Diddy. But Shyne could maneuver through those people because of where he was from. He was from the hood. So he still had ways of getting around in there. And now Shyne did leave and come back with a gun because he said he was there to defend himself. But he wasn't the one that hit that girl with the bullet. That was Mr. Combs, allegedly, that was up in there with that. Now, when asked if Rubin's claim that Diddy was the gunman is true, Shyne said, I'm not going to get into that, though he did add, I'm relieved that people are saying what the truth is, that I did not shoot those people. And I believe that Shyne is not saying anything because word on the street is that, with him being the leader of the Belize United Democratic Party, that Diddy had a hand because, by him taking the fall and everything. The alleged rumor is that Diddy used his funds and wherewithal to help him in his political aspirations. So that's the rumor. That's probably why he's choosing his words carefully. Because if you did take some of that Diddy money, that Diddy dirty money, because remember, he did call himself at one point Diddy dirty money. So I'm going to use that as a reference. So since there was upon a time that he used that Diddy dirty money to fund his political aspirations, that's probably why he chooses word carefully. And I believe that's why a lot of people do that, because it's like, oh, I know where the bodies is buried. I'm not going to tell you, but if you listen to somebody who said what they said, you will know where the bodies is buried if you're paying attention, if you know what I'm saying, and I think you do. So it's always within the wording. So I think that's what Shyne is getting at. Now, they said the shooting in question occurred on December 27, 1999, at New York Club in Manhattan following an altercation between Bad Boy Cam and a man named Matthew Scar Allen. Shots were fired inside the club and three bystanders, were injured. Both Shyne and Diddy were arrested after the incident, but the latter, along with his bodyguard, was acquitted of all charges. Shyne, on the other hand, was sentenced to 10 years in prison after being convicted of criminal possession of a weapon, assault, and reckless endangerment, but he was found not guilty of attempted murder. And I think also Shyne was somebody who didn't have a lot of money on his side and powerful lawyers to get him out of this situation. Because we know, like, if you got a lot of money, you got a lot of resources, you got good lawyers, you too can get off. Um, what else did it say? Oh, and it says that he was later deported to his native Belize following his release from prison in 2009. Natalia Rubin's comments about the shooting came almost 25 years later in a video uploaded to social media this past February. Well, a lot of times she's been talking a lot over the years. It didn't just happen this past February. The fact of the matter was, she said every time she would speak up that she felt like her phone was being tapped, that her cards were being denied whenever she would try to spend money. She would have to transfer money to her kids, or at least she said her son, and he would have to use the money to pay on certain things. So there's a lot of things that was being moved around that she didn't have access to a lot of things because she spoke out against Diddy shooting her. So, like I said, Shonda's basically saying what we've all suspected for years. And I do believe in my heart of hearts that he took the fall. And with him taking the fall, I feel like as a thank you, Diddy was like, you know what, I'm gonna help you out in a lot of situations, particularly, if you're gonna be in Belize or whatever, I'm gonna help you get your life, started over. I'll throw you a little money. And then if you like when he said with the whole political aspirations, I'll help you with that too. I'll help throw some money behind it and help you win. And there's that. Because money influences a lot of people. It influences a lot of our policies in America, where all of our politicians on both sides is bought and paid for. So there's that. But anyway, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do y'all believe that, you know, Diddy did it? Did he do it? Let me know. All right, so now we have an update on this whole Nicki Minaj situation, because I did report this a couple of days ago and I cut it up in a separate video and I posted on my social media. Of course, the barbs had to come in with their fucking comments. I just looked and I just kept it moving. And I left the comment up there. So like, well, they did say that, y'all, oh, what was the word? Oh, y'all believe Megan kind of because she a white woman. And I was like, they're always taking it to a whole complete different fucking direction. Like, first of all, bitch, I don't make the news. I just report it. Number one. And number two, if I'm talking about something, I'm reporting what's going on and I'm gonna give my opinion on it. I don't give a fuck who feelings get hurt or whatever the case was. And I don't feel like I said anything bad in regards to this. I said a lot of times the judge may not do it because of these reasons. There's many valid reasons of why, as a judge, I would have trepidations about wanting to allow Kenneth Petty to travel, be it a lot of things that he's done post, being released from prison. However, now that the story has come out, I can report on the fact of saying that he has been allowed to travel with her on the international leg of her Pink Friday World Tour. World Tour, and is set to begin in Toronto on April 30th. So Petty was currently on probation and house arrest, asked the judge for permission to travel out of the country with his wife for various purposes, including childcare, which at first had no position from the judge. However, according to Legal Affairs and Trials reporter Megan Conniff, a judge greenlit Petty's request on Tuesday. So you mad about that white woman reporting news about your girl, but guess what? When the good news come out, I want to see you have that same damn energy. So, so it says defendant Kenneth Petty, Mr. Petty, by and through counsel, hereby applies to the court for an order allowing him to travel out of the country with his family for his wife's tour and her professional purposes. Mr. Petty and Miss Petty believe Mr. Petty is necessary to accompany the family on the tour for various purposes, including child care. So Megan did post the information and stuff on the Twitter, which hold on, let me mirror that for y'all so y'all can see the good old stuff. So yeah, here's this is I don't know if we can get so yeah, it's all right here. All the information where it says that the declaration of Hagop Q Ming John, I can't read it. Child, what word is that? Order re-ex part application for order sealing document. There's they try to file the travel request, which is not opposed to the U.S. Attorney's Office under seal, but U.S. District Judge Michael Fitzgerald rejected him. And it says it's not that prosecutors aren't opposing the travel request, it's that they're taking no position. It's Petty's probation officer who doesn't oppose. Here's a declaration from the lawyer. So if the probation officer doesn't oppose, if people don't oppose, the lawyer says it's perfectly okay and they're willing and they're down with it or whatever, then I say it's fine. Now, I feel like at this point, Kendall, just make sure you stay your ass out of trouble. You go with your wife, you be the nanny to your son, And, once it begins, it said that the international leg begins April 17th in Montreal. Well, so it happened already because I remember she went on social media. It was somebody that she was being sabotaged. I don't know by who, but she said that she was being sabotaged. It was a whole bunch of vague stuff that she posted on Twitter. So, I think it was on her social media. I believe it was Twitter. But anyway, so, she's over in Canada, as I like to call Canada sometimes. So April 17th, Montreal, before concluding July 12th in London. And I do feel like that would be a long time to be separated away from your wife and kid and all this other stuff. So I'm glad that, what, the judge trusted enough that I'm going to let you travel. But make sure you're on your best behavior, sir, because the minute you fuck up, they're going to come after your ass. But anyway, so how much did Nicki pay the judge, and how many favors did it cost Nicki to get the favors she wanted? Well, who knows? My thing is, as long as she got what she wanted, and as long as he's able to travel, and then things is good, then that's fine. Now she can fully concentrate on this tour and performing and stuff. She don't have to be stressed out over whatever it is that she's gonna be stressed out by. Just make sure this show goes the way it needs to go while she's traveling. I do wonder if she kept Monica a part of the show, because I'm sorry, Monica was the weak part of that Pink Friday 2 tour. And that was just me saying it. It was her fans saying it to me when we were there. So I don't just be pulling stuff out my ass. I actually talked to some of the barbers when I was at the concert. And, because I was working at the garden, the Madison Square Garden one, when she stopped there. And I actually had conversations with a lot of her fans, and they were just like, why is Monica in this shit? Like, her music is, I keep telling y'all, she like Queen of the Chitlin circuit. Like, that's where Monica need to be. She is not mainstream. Her music style, a lot of the stuff, it's for a specific audience, and the Barb's wasn't it. Like, if you was gonna bring somebody in, you should have brought in more rappers or whatever. Like when what the hell's his name? When 50 Cent came out, that was a high point for me. And well, as someone who grew up listening to 50 Cent, and a lot of the fans in the audience were hyped when he came out. But when Monica came out during the middle part of the show, they were just like, I ain't even seen so many damn people sit down during a performance or doing photo shoots. They had little lights and everything. I'm like, y'all here for nigga, y'all here just to be doing whole photo shoots. Like, I was cackling watching that. But the fact that she accused the venue of being sabotaged then comes out in her favor. Well, I was like, I don't know what venue would sabotage an artist, because at the end of the day, it's venues are there to get their money. Like, they don't care what goes on or whatever, as long as your ass show up and the audience is there in there and they get their money, because the arenas that these people are paying money, through Ticketmaster, whatever the case was, to see. That's what they're paying for. That's the arena's getting their money. They're not trying to sabotage Nicki Minaj. That would be stupid. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the arena's there to make their money. I work in an arena outside of doing this show. Okay, so we got how many more topics? So we got a lot of topics. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got about 5 more topics, and then we are out of here. So let's talk about Miami Outlet, because there's more child stars who are speaking out about, Quiet on Set. And like I said many a times, if people feel compelled to speak out, I'm here for all the people that I grew up watching speaking out about their experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, that happened while they were coming up in the industry. But I also don't like when you have people on social media who are trying to strong arm people to speak out. Even A, they're not ready to speak out and they haven't done their trauma, dealt with their traumas, or B, haven't gone through the same situations that so many people who have spoken out in the Quiet on Set documentary have spoken out on. I'm going to be honest, I haven't even seen the 5th episode, and I think it's because I know so much about this case, and I've been talking so much about so many other people that have come out about it, that I feel like I don't really need to watch part 5 at this point. I feel like I've gotten all I need to get from part 4, and I haven't heard anything major that, you know, from this 5th episode that I'm like, oh my God, I have to see it. If there is stuff out there and y'all have seen it, let me know. But I just feel like I've gotten all I need to get from this docu-series. So that's why I haven't really watched part 5. At first I was hyped to see it, but I think it's because I've been talking so much about this on the show that I'm just like, no, I don't know if I want to watch it. Just is what it is. So the Big Bang Theory alum shared her thoughts On the latest episode of her podcast, Mind Bialik's Breakdown, Bialik discussed the ID doc with Blossom co-star Jenna Von Oy, who played Six, her best friend, and former Disney Channel star Christy Carlson Romano, saying women being berated in the writers' room is something that was just like, I'm sorry, it was considered I hate to say it, it's considered par for the course. Bialik said over the allegations made in the docuseries by a couple of women writers working with Dan Schneider. I will say I do not believe that happened in our writers' room, and there were things that we all thought were okay to even joke about, which now we'd be mortified. Von Oy noted that the claims made in the series were things I heard about other sets during our time, saying, "You're watching what an entire culture was like," Bialik said. "This is not what happened because Nickelodeon this, that. Of course it touched me personally. Of course it did." She continued by saying, "But what it also reminded me of is how far we've come to get to a place where people like Christy get to advocate, and we know what she means when she says the mental health of children on set matters, and there are things that we can do to make sure that there are no exceptions. You can't push that child." So if you want to see the full episode, definitely check out it's on YouTube. It's called Surviving the Toxic Culture of Kids TV with Maya Bialik, Jenna Von Oy, and Christy Romano. And they get into a whole lot of things about like your mental health as a kid. And she's absolutely right. And this is what I keep pushing about when I say on this show is the fact that back then the things that we joke about and the things we could get away with, you can't get away with that today. It's like, like some of the things I was like, oh my God. Like when you watch old shows, you watch things like when we talk about Sex and the City and so many things, we would cringe at some of the stuff if we look back on those things. But that was the 90s, the 2000s, the 80s. You could get away with stuff like that back then. But once the Me Too thing and everything started up, there's just certain things you cannot get away with and you cannot say today. And um there's always going to be people that's going to be saying, like, you know what, we may not have experienced those things, but yeah, there were, like, I could totally see like those things that those women who were in the writers room on Nickelodeon had to deal with. Like, I've seen these things happen on other sets, or it may not have happened on our set, but we've heard other shows where women have had to deal with similar situations. I'm not going to name them because that's not my place to do that, but I've heard the stories, and just letting you know that you know, we we believe these people when they've come out and said these things because we've heard these stories happen on other sets. So I do applaud when, like I said before, when people like Maya Bialik, and we had Kenan Thompson. We had not yesterday, the day before yesterday, we did our last show. Jaleel White spoke out about, some of the things that happened when he was, growing up as a child actor in Hollywood and hearing a lot of those stories and things. So it's good to talk about these things. I'm glad more people are coming out and speaking about it. And I love that, it's like people that I grew up with where they're all speaking out and talking about their experiences of things that they've heard other people who are their peers at the time have gone through when they were on those shows. So people keep speaking up and speaking out, and like I said, because it seems like every time I do a show, I got another story, another child actor coming out and speaking about stuff. This story is not going anywhere. I'm glad it's not, but I really hope that with all these conversations happening and all these young, these people that I grew up with their podcasts, what I really want to know, because we really haven't talked about this, what is the end game? Like, what is going to be put in place now for the Nickelodeons, the Disney channels, or any of the future young stars that are coming up that will protect them from what the people before them had to deal with? So that way this new generation don't have to deal with the same situation and the same repercussions. So there needs to be things put in place where now, and I'm hoping that a lot of these parents who have young children who are acting have watched Quiet on Set and know what to look out for and know what to do and know what not to put up with in the future. Because if y'all seen Quiet on Set and you still allowing your kids to deal with some shit behind the scenes with some of these people in powerful positions, then you're a horrible damn parent at this point. So, like I said, this story I don't think is going anywhere anytime soon. And I'll keep you abreast of this as it develops, as it continues to develop. We talk about that already. And so the tour is more in favor. I haven't heard of canceled show like European tour last time because of unprofessionalism, like arriving the day of show and setting up the stage at 3 p.m. But usually it's like, look, that's what I love about Beyonce, because it's like Beyonce could be performing in New York, I mean in New Jersey, because she didn't perform in New York. She did her stadium show in Jersey. So it's like I'm in Jersey and I've already got my set up for a show in Philly that I'm about to be doing the next day. And then I already got my other set up in Chicago that I'm gonna be doing after that. So she already got it sent over in two other states, two other cities, post this one. But that's a lot of money that she's putting into stuff like that. And this is like, yeah, I like when people are two steps ahead in that way. It's like, Beyonce's like, oh no, y'all not. Y'all gonna have my shit set up. So by the time I get there, everything will be where it needs to be. That episode of her talking to Drake and having the two black kids from all that. Oh, oh yeah, I did hear that. What it was that she had, what they had with Soledad O'Brien and that whole thing. But I just felt like, but I guess, like what Robert says, he said it was just an interview and it wasn't juicy at all. It was like a reunion episode. So that's probably why I really didn't tune in, because it did kind of give me like Bravo reunion tease. And yeah, I just didn't feel like it was giving what needs to be given. Oh my God, I totally forgot to add this thing to the docket. There was an Andy Cohen story that came out, and I'm like, wait a minute, I knew I forgot something. There was so much going on. I just felt like my show was just all over the place today. But yeah, there was some tea that came out, and I guess I'll just add it to the show about Andy Cohen. And I totally forgot to add it. So give me a second, because we're gonna talk about this shit right now, yeah. All right, so let's get into our next story, and let's talk about, because there was rumors about Andy Cohen leaving the show, leaving Bravo, and apparently they're saying it's not true. So he has no plans. Now, according to Deadline, it says the Bravo star and executive producer is not leaving the NBC Universal Cable Network. Deadline understands. It comes after a report by In Touch magazine that Cohen was negotiating a departure package. A Bravo spokeswoman told Deadline, saying there's absolutely no truth to this story, and the publication's source obviously has no clue about the situation. Cohen's Watch What Happens Live has been on air for 15 years, recording more than 2,500 episodes. Excuse me, the series is expected to be picked up for further seasons. I don't know why, because I don't know anybody who watches it, but okay. He is also the doyen of the Real Housewives franchise and exec produces series including Housewives of Potomac, Housewives of Miami, Housewives of Salt Lake City, Housewives of Beverly Hills, Housewives of New York City, Housewives of Orange County, Housewives of Atlanta, and Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. There's too many goddamn Housewives shows, but that's the only place that he gets money. All them other shows, because he had to step down and become talent, um, he basically doesn't get any kind of money from that, which is why he's been housewiving us to death. But it's also been a busy time in the housewife universe. Like they just got rid of Robert Dixon was fired, Candace Dillard Bassett, they both left Potomac. Bette Midler was talking about that she want to join Beverly Hills. And there's been people who have come out against him, such as Brandy Glanville and Leah McSweeney, and then Vanderpump Rules Reunion. He also hosts that. He does a lot of the reunion shows. Every reunion show, Andy Cohen, hosts and moderates, or tries to, poorly. And then he also told Deadline that Watch What Happens Live was his absolute dream job, which you heard that, according to Nene Leakes, she came up with the concept of them doing like the whole Watch What Happens reunion type situation. And of course, when you give somebody an idea and you don't know how to brand that for yourself or get a piece of that pie, he's going to take advantage of it because he's smarter and he knows how the business is. And you're just somebody coming in thinking that's your friend, when it's like, this is show business, not show friends. Some people going, one day y'all gonna learn that. It's like no hard feelings, but some these people who play up in your face like they're your friends, if you have if there's an idea of something, they're gonna try to snatch it. They don't care how good of a friend you are. This is why you gotta keep your ideas close to your vest, or at least trademark and copyright it and stuff before you tell people your idea or present it to them. But you'll learn that as your business smarts progress. But Yeah, I mean, when I first heard this article, when I saw the article yesterday, because I see so many people talking about it, like with so many conflicting reports. Oh, and I seen a lot of people picked it up. Then there was some that was saying, "Oh, it's not true." So I was like, "I'm gonna just wait till today, and I'm gonna work on it, and I'm gonna put it out there." But I never believed my heart of hearts that, regardless of what's going on with Andy, NBC Universal is going to stand by him. He could do no wrong in their eyes. He has made them so much money over there at Bravo. He has pretty much solidified himself in a position where he is the king of that network, and he's like the mascot of Watch What Happens in all the Bravo shows and BravoCon, which I've heard is taking a year off and will be coming back in 2025. So you're not getting BravoCon this year, but he says they have a whole bunch of Bravo stuff in the works that they're going to be coming up with. So I was like, you know, lawsuit, small suit, like, and also what's going on with the whole reality reckoning that Bethany Frankel was a part of. Like, we haven't heard anything about that. So you had all these people riled up and signing papers and trying to be Team Bethany, but now we haven't heard anything. So maybe Lindsay Aguilera was right. Maybe this was a opportunity and an attention grab from Bethany's side, because we haven't heard anything about that. Now watch me put this out in the universe and Bethany wound up saying something. So I'm just like, what's going on with that? There was supposed to be this whole reality reckoning that we've been talking about. Crickets. That's all I hear now. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because I had totally forgot to bring that up. And let me know what you guys think down below. Okay, so Felix says, I don't know how he keeps getting to stay, doesn't he? He probably have dirt on some of the people. Like, the story that came out. Speaking of which, I forgot to bring this up with Diddy. Like, they were talking about Diddy got dirt on a lot of people too. That he was having sex with certain people and had it recorded, using it as blackmail. Like, there was a story that came out that he had sex with Clive Davis. I'm like, Clive Davis looked like he don't even clean himself out right. Like, he give me like he will shit on your dick. Like, that's what Clive Davis give me. And then there was a story that came out that he had sex. This was the recent one. There was a comedian, the same one that said that he had hunched Shawnee Smith, came out and said that he kicked in the door and waved in the 4-4. Don't you tell Papa don't hit me no more. Nah, I just had a Biggie moment. He kicked in the door because he had heard noises or whatever. He was at, I guess, Diddy house, whatever. And apparently Reginald Vell Johnson, who played Carl Winslow, was getting his back dug out by Diddy. That Diddy was laying that pipe. And Carl Winslow was taking it. And I'm sitting there like, are you getting them confused with TD Jakes? Because they both shape the same and they kind of look similar. Like, that's not me saying that I don't believe that Reginald Vell Johnson is a member of the LGBT LMNOP community. Because I do get that. I've always got that vibe that Carl Winslow was a big old punk and a sissy. I got that he's a card carrying member of the Rainbow Coalition. But I don't believe that Diddy was hunching him. I think that comedian, whatever the fuck his name is, got his peoples confused. So I don't know if I believe that story, but I did hear that. But he's bringing up the whole thing about Diddy being gay and all this other stuff. I was like, whatever. I mean, we heard them stories over the years that Diddy get down with men. That's nothing new either. So, but it said, I'm glad the mom and son reunited. He doesn't, and he understood as an adult. She was looking out for him. I believe Andy is getting fired, but he doesn't like the narrative. I mean, you want to know something? Now, I'm a gag if this actually does turn out true, because they did say that they're taking a year off. Why are they taking a year off? All of a sudden from BravoCon? Is it because they are trying to get Andy up out of there and they're looking for a replacement? I know it ain't going to be Carlos King. So who's going to be the new face of Bravo if this does turn out that he does end up getting fired? Because I'm thinking there could be some truth to it. That they say, oh, no, we're not getting rid of him. That they could be looking for like this severance package or whatever to leave the network because of all this stuff that's coming out, and the heat is getting a little bit too much for NBC Universal to deal with. So they're looking to kind of slither him out of there. But then y'all need to find a new mascot, because then if you're gonna keep Watch Rappers Live around, like, who's gonna be the new face of BravoCon? Who's gonna be the new person that's gonna be doing the, like, narrate or moderating the reunion? Y'all gonna need somebody like that. But I do agree, like, the whole narrative thing. So there could be some truth to that. But if he does, if that does happen, we'll see. You think really Lisa Rinna doesn't want to go back because of him? I just feel like I know there's some people that actually want Lisa Rinna to come back to the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I didn't mind Lisa Rinna all that much, although last year she was doing too damn much and she pissed me off. But the prior seasons when I watched her, it was like she's good TV. I was entertained by her. I actually wanted to bring back Eileen. I love me some Eileen Davidson. Yeah, she wasn't given as much as she needed to give for the show, but she held her own against them broads on that show, and I like Eileen when she was on there. But Lisa Rinna, I felt like last season she took a little too far. And I think also what may have hurt her is because Kathy Griffin, well, I live for Kathy Griffin too. And I live for when she was going after Andy Cohen, especially when she put him on blast about the booger sugar, which I already knew before she spilled that tea. So I was like, since she is on it, like she's not lying when it comes to the drugs. But I feel like because of when she went after Kathy Hilton all of a sudden, and because Kathy Hilton is a woman who knows a lot of people in the industry and is very much that socialite that pretty much blackballs people, that she may have had a hand in getting Lisa removed from the Housewives of Beverly Hills. So she is very powerful in a lot of those circles, which is why a lot of the women play their positions when they're around, you know, Paris's mother. So um if I was Lisa Rinna, I wouldn't go back either. Like her career, she's back to acting and all this stuff. Stick to that. Don't come back to doing reality TV because reality TV, even though it ain't real, it be too much sometimes. Makes me think of Rob Dyrdek on MTV with ridiculous. Yeah, that's another thing too. Ridiculousness. That used to work my nerve whenever I would see that like a part of like they would literally run that shit all day. Sidebar: I gotta watch The Challenge All Stars. I think it premiered yesterday. So I had to catch up on it. It's a lot of shows that came out. First of all, part 2 of Rebel Moon just dropped on Netflix, even though the first one wasn't that great. I do have to see part 2 to finish to see how it concludes. Drag Race's finale is tonight. Then they have that horror movie that's on, what is it, on Shutter. I definitely gotta catch. So there's a lot of tea that's coming out. There's a lot of stuff that's on that I gotta catch. What's it called? Late Night with the Devil? Yeah, definitely. I gotta catch that. I was trying to see how long the movie was because I had to actually stop, like go on my phone and look at my Shutter app to see what movies what the movies on there. So I actually had to add it to my list so that way I know to watch it later. But anyway, so there's that. But yeah, ridiculousness is good. My goddamn nerves. And I said, oh, you said in Clive Davis? How you doing? He said he bisexual. I don't believe that. But anyway, let's move on. And what's our next one? Oh, let me give it's some positive news. Let's give a shout out to my girl Mariska Hargitay, who channeled her inner Olivia Benson from Law and Order SVU because there was a kid in New York City who mistook her for an actual cop and needed help finding her mother. So while filming new episodes of Law and Order Special Victims Unit in New York City last week, Hargitay, who's 60, had no choice but to channel her on-screen counterpart when a lost child saw her badge, mistook her for a real police officer, and sought her help. A witness told people that the April 10th shoot briefly interrupted after the young girl got separated from her mother while playing in Fort Tryon Park. In true Olivia Benson fashion, Hargitay didn't hesitate to step up and pause production for 20 minutes to assist the girl who was oblivious to the camera's crew and cast, including Hargitay's scene partner, Ice-T. It's probably because these kids grow up in such a social media era that it's like they see a bunch of cameras around. It's like, whatever. Big Brother's watching. I don't know her. I don't see her either. So they just be walking through the cameras and being completely unaware. But I said, thankfully, 25 seasons of SVU have taught Hargitay a thing or two about saving the day, as it wasn't long before she helped reunite the kid with her mom. The Emmy-winning actress has been portraying Benson since 1999 when she was cast to lead the Law and Order spinoff that eventually became the longest-running drama in primetime American television. Yeah, that's 25 years, and they've been approved for a 26th season. So Mariska gonna be playing this character until she got one foot in the grave. Not that I'm complaining because I love the show. I love it some Law and Order. It is literally a show. Like when I talk about Drag Race being my comfort food, like something I could watch for hours and hours and hours. Law and Order Special Victim Unit is another show that I actually watch. I watch Organized Crime too, because I love me some Chris Maloney and that big old butt of his. So I do watch Organized Crime because I love me some Chris Maloney, and I do watch the original Law and Order too, which is on Peacock. So that's how I watch it. But Law and Order SVU, like I've been watching a lot of the old episodes, and I watch those on Hulu. But you could also watch it on Disney Plus, and you can watch it on Peacock. So it's like all different places you can go and watch it. Except my Peacock has like the 90-second commercials, because I was like, I don't mind like ads and stuff being on Peacock, but everything else is like I gotta have non-ads. So yeah. So kudos to her, and I'm glad that she actually helped this kid out finding her mother. And I just wanted to point that out because I feel like that was just some positive news that we needed with all the stuff that we've been talking about on today's show. But if y'all have not been watching Law and Order SVU, it airs Thursdays at 9 on NBC. So definitely check it out. It's like one of those shows that I've just been watching since forever. So I continue to watch it. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out is that Halle Berry and DDG, we did talk about them in the last episode that we did, which was 2 days ago. So apparently there were rumors that were swirling that Halle and DDG, who is the father of their child, Halo, had split up. But according to reports, we should pump our brakes because they're not necessarily broken up. Even though the internet has been speculating that they had, because they said that they started taking pictures of each other down from social media, a bunch of other stuff. I don't be paying attention to people's social media that hard to even be noticing that, okay, so y'all removing pictures, that means y'all broke up. A lot of y'all need to go out and touch grass. But since this is part of the show, let's just talk about it. So a rep for the Little Mermaid actor denied rumors the couple had called it quits, informing Radar Online the reports they parted ways are just gossip, saying this is fake news, not true at all. The rumor mill went into overdrive this week when the couple unfollowed each other on Instagram. Theories were fueled when eagle-eyed fans noticed that DDG and Halle removed most images of themselves posing together from their respective social media accounts. Some were even more convinced the pair had broken up after Halle's solo appearance at Coachella over the weekend. Just months ago, Halle and DDG welcomed their first baby together in December, a son named Halo. The famed YouTuber praised her for being a professional mom this January, revealing she adapted to parenthood with ease. I wouldn't choose, well, she said, I wouldn't choose. They still put that misprint up in there. I wouldn't choose no other person in the world to have a child with. We're learning. Now we learning. She's a great mom, like it's crazy. She's amazing. He gushed in a photo posted to his channel. Bailey announced earlier this year that she had given birth in late 2023, having since documented the little one's milestone moments off camera until after she had the baby. But then there was all this stuff that was coming out, and I'm tired of talking about it, that it was just like, you know what? She was gaslighting her fans. Oh, no, she's not pregnant. But stop making these comments about my nose spreading and all these other things that people know that those are the signs, or some people know to look out for the signs when someone that they've been following or paying attention to is with child. She was getting mad because people was pointing out a lot of the stuff. And then DDG at some points was on his live or doing whatever and adding more fuel to the speculation. And then when people are starting to see it, because she's not noticing that his cameras is on and you see her in these big old sweat clothes, pants and shirt, and then you see her stomach is bigger than usual, and he's on a live doing this, then people are getting mad. Then they're getting mad because we're pointing out stuff when you want us to comment on it. And I hate when people do that. It's like y'all be doing shit because y'all want people to comment, and then when people comment, you get mad because they're commenting. This is gaslighting for me. So whether or not they're together, okay. If they're together, they're together. If they're not, they're not. Quiet as it's kept, or I'll say, in my opinion, I don't think he's right for her. But if you like it, I love it. And if this is who you want to be with, I mean, okay. But regardless of the fact of whether or not they break up, the reality is they're going to be stuck together for the rest of their lives because there's a child involved. So there's that. Okay, so let's move on to this story. I think we have two more topics, and then we are done with today's show. So there was a story that came out that I saw about Lance Bass, and I was like, oh, let me bring this up. So I saw this on Out magazine. So this week, a security guard working for Heart WeHo, a popular LGBTQ plus nightclub in West Hollywood, co-founded by Lance Bass, was arrested after brutally beating a customer. According to a report in the WeHo Times, the customer in question was a celebrity hairstylist named Albert Vasquez. The official report from the LA Sheriff's Department indicated that this incident took place on Friday, April 5th at 10:40 p.m. local time. The suspect, who was working as a security guard, did not allow the victim injury due to the victim not having proper identification. This is what the report read. Both the suspect and the victim engaged in a verbal and physical altercation in which the suspect punched the victim once in the face. The victim fell to the ground and was transported to a nearby hospital. Heart WeHo co-founder Lance Bass, who recently stepped away from his association to the venue, issued the following statement on Instagram. And with that being said, um, I want to pull it up so that way y'all can see who we talking about. Please hold. Okay, so they said it was arrest made. So it said an arrest has been made in the brutal beating of celebrity hairdresser Albert Vasquez. According to the statement by the LA Sheriff's Department, a security guard at Heart WeHo was identified, arrested, and charged with battery causing great bodily harm. The statement by LASD reads as follows. On Friday, April 5th, 2024, at approximately 10:40 p.m., the victim attempted to enter the nightclub in West Hollywood. The suspect, who was working as a security guard, excuse me, did not allow the victim to enter due to the victim not having proper ID. Both the suspect and the victim engaged in verbal physical altercation. And they said, as I read before, he was punched in the face, he fell to the floor, he was transported to a hospital. Anyone with questions or information about the incident, they can contact the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department in West Hollywood, and they give the phone number. And Mr. Vasquez's sister told WeHo Times that a detective in the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station reached out to the family earlier yesterday. The family will be allowed to view the surveillance footage to see exactly what happened on Friday night. And that's what I said. You know what? If they have camera footage and they can detect what happened, then I'm sure that this guy who was punched and assaulted by a security guard can get some kind of payout or whatever the case is, because they did say that the family set up a GoFundMe. I did forget to point. I do want to point that out, that there is a GoFundMe page, and the description reads, while we await further details about his recovery timetable for medical staff, we are beginning to raise money and that will be used to cover medical and living expenses, as he will be unable to work for the foreseeable future. And he's a celebrity hairstylist. So I'm just sitting there like, okay, so if he does celebrity hair, he's not going to be. I mean, was he punched so hard that he can't work? Like, I'm like, God damn. I didn't expect that to happen. But I should point out that Heart WeHo has releases their own statement saying that they remain deeply committed to the safety and well-being of our community. We are aware of the incident that occurred on April 5th and have been actively collaborating with the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department to assist in their investigation. Since the beginning, we have provided the authorities with unrestricted access to our security camera footage. We urge anyone with additional information pertaining to this incident to come forward and assist the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department in their efforts to ensure the safety and security of our neighborhood. So it's unfortunate that people going through this. Also, it's like these security guards, they be out of control, because you know what? I remember hearing stories about, like, at instance, I think, wasn't it at the Q? They were talking about, like, the security was pretty horrible there too. Well, the Q ain't around no more because there was so much expose that came out about the Q nightclub in New York and the way that people were being treated, and a lot of the queer patrons were being discriminated against. And a lot of times when you have a lot of these queer establishments, yeah, Lance Bass may have been someone who was a part of Heart, but I don't know if any of the other people that ran Heart with him were a part of the community, and he's no longer with the community. But because he was a part of not a community, he's not a part of that club anymore. And I've heard, like, the club is a pretty good establishment. I haven't been there because Heart came around when I had left LA already. So, and I know people that actually. I have a friend that worked there. I don't know if he still works there, but I know people that have worked at Heart, and I've heard it's a cute establishment or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if the people that own it are actually gay. Because a lot of times you would hear people that, regardless of the fact, I guess if they're gay or they're straight or whatever, a lot of these people that just run these establishments, just running establishments, and there'd be a lot of politics and stuff that goes up in there. But so it makes us wonder, like, are you a part of the community or helping the community out or not? So um, I guess what we can say on this whole situation is, and then yeah, a lot of times they be hiring people that just be there for the check and not really there for the well-being of the people that they work in the community. So we don't know necessarily what happened if Albert provoked the security guard or was getting all up in his face and kind of throwing his privilege around, being a light-skinned Latino male who was just being like, "Well, do you know who I am?" or whatever the case is. I don't know what happened. So I'm just trying to hit all sides. So, but regardless of provocation or whatever the case is, you as a security guard have no right to put your hands on nobody. Because in my job, security guards are not allowed to put I'm not allowed to put my hands on people. If there's a situation that escalates, I'd call security. Security comes in, they diffuse it. If security can't also put their hands on people, then if it comes down to it, because we do have the NYPD that is in our facility as well that walks around. If it gets to that point, NYPD comes in and put their hands on the person and have them arrested and escorted out, which I have seen happen. So that's what it has to be like. You can't be putting your hands as a security guard on other people, regardless of how aggressive patrons get. This is why I don't think I could ever be a security guard at a club, because people be drunk, and when people be drunk, they be doing stupid shit, and I don't want to be caught up in the situation of having to be like, okay, now you try me, now I'm gonna have to knock your ass out. But I should point out that Lance Bass also said something, and he said, "Wow, this news really weighs on me. I found out about the incident recently, having stepped away from Hart months ago. It's truly disheartening. Violence in any shape or form is just unacceptable, and my thoughts go out to Albert, his friends/family, and anyone who had to witness the disturbing altercation. When I first joined Hart, my mission was clear: to foster a place where people could find safety, have a good time, and were able to truly be themselves. It's incredibly distressing to realize that there are individuals who act without restraint or an ethical compass, posing potential threat to others. It's a stark reminder for us to all remain vigilant and ensure the safety of everyone in our communities. We really need to have each other's backs. My heart hurts for everyone involved." So that's what he said. Um, yeah, this is the post or whatever. I just want to show that to y'all. And yeah, so yeah, my heart goes out to him. Hopefully everything works out. Well, I guess we'll get a resolution soon. Whoever talk well, once they talk about it on any of the gay blogs or websites, whatever picks it up. I guess we'll find out what happened when we find out. Once they finish their investigation. Okay, so Felix says there was a girl who said she was attacked by a security guard at another club and said he pushed her down the stairs. Yeah, a lot of times they be like, some of these security guards be out of control at a lot of these venues and incidents and stuff. And we always hear a lot of horror stories about places that's supposed to be a safe space for marginalized communities, be it like we'll just use LGBTQ club because that's what this is about. Like a lot of times, the gay clubs and stuff were created because it was a safe space for us to be able to go once we leave, these heteronormative jobs or whatever, when you have to put on your little straight gear or whatever, and you got to walk into these places and deal with these heterosexuals all day. And then it's like when we're done doing the 9 to 5 and having to work to pay our bills and survive or whatever, then we go to these establishments to let our hair down and have a good time. And that's what you want to do when you go to these places, only to have to deal with shitty ass staff, freaking asshole security guards who don't know how to keep their hands on themselves and deal with people in a rational manner, regardless of, like, what you're gonna get when you work at a club, regardless if it's a gay club or a straight club. Once people put liquor in their system or whatever the case was, even if you're having a bad day, you check that shit at the door before you come to work. Because when I've been going through my stuff at times too, it's like I've always learned, like, you know what? Once you clock in and you come in here and you do this job, what's going on outside that, you leave that there. You, in the words of Vivica Fox, you put that where? Back there. And then you come in here and you do the job. You put on your professional mask and you do what you got to do until you clock out. And when you're done, you can go back to being mad about whatever you was mad about prior to you clocking into that shift. Now he in trouble. So you gotta work, a lot of y'all like to abuse y'all power and stuff too, because when y'all, you are a damn rent a cop, with that whole security gig. It's just like, just do your job. but you don't have a right to be knocking people out and shit. So, okay, so let's get to our final topic and let's talk about this straight EDM performer who people are big mad about that is performing at a Pride event. So listeners of EDM already know John Summit, and this summer he's about to find a whole new audience of gay fans. Now, Summit is a popular DJ from Illinois who's been active on the scene since 2017. He's only been getting more popular, performing at Lollapalooza Brazil, EDC Las Vegas, and other big festivals in 2023. Now, Summit played his first Coachella this year and is getting ready for what is sure to be an energy-filled party with a performance at the Dreamland event in New York City's Central Park during Pride Month. It's a clear sign that his career is going in all the right places. But unfortunately, because we can't have nice things, haters are going to keep doing what they do best. And some people posted this tweet. John Summit said, lost a few hundred followers since I announced I'm playing a gay pride party. LMFAO. Peace out, you insecure homophobes. He said, I do see what you think. You cannot deny that the gays know how to effing party. And yes, the fuck we do. So stay mad. And also they said another guy posted, they don't know house music was originally a safe space for queer people of color. And then John Summer goes, facts. They try to burn down the culture with the disco demolition at Comiskey, and instead house music was born and has since taken over the world. One The disco demolition he was referring to is a notorious event held by two Chicago disc jockeys in between baseball games of Comiskey Park, where 80,000 people destroyed disco records and chanted "disco sucks," ushering in a new era of homophobia in music. And a lot of that people don't realize had came from a lot of it came from um, you know, the fact that they were mad over how disco was this genre of music that brought everybody together. It wasn't just gay men dancing in the club. Straight people were in there. The Latino community was in there. Black people, everybody was together. The gays, the straights, the bisexuals, transsexuals. We're here. That's all. They was all in the room together, having a good old time, enjoying them, getting lost in the music. Caught in a trap. I quit. Shout out to Chic. But they were up in there and they were just enjoying the music and just living for the music and just feeling euphoric and having a good old time. Then them old, non-dancer motherfuckers came over here and was like, we had to go in there and chant. And now they watered down and it became whatever. This is why I live for, let's bring it back to Beyonce. She reminded you people where disco started or where dance music started. It started in the clubs created by Black queer people. Country music, black came from Black folks. It was rooted in all these different genres and sounds. And then the same thing with dance music. It's like, yeah, disco and everything that came before house music. So I say all that to say, because I was like, I wanted to pull up John Summit because I wanted to show y'all this picture of him at Coachella recently with Dom Dollar, who did a song with Nelly Furtado. Child, I just heard the video. That she fell. But people was in the comments, it was like, girls don't need nobody. One person said that crowd was mid as fuck. They don't deserve that set. This is quite possibly the worst FOMO I think anyone has ever experienced. So a lot of people was, they was having a good time. And I'm glad this kid is coming up, John Summit. He's doing what he's doing. And I feel like, this is also, and I agree, because this is what I be getting from Coachella also, is that I feel like this new generation of kids, y'all do not know anything about having a good time at parties. Y'all be so caught up in y'all damn phones, want to record a moment instead of being in the moment. This is why I'm so glad I was able to party back in the days and when I was able to party, because it was like there was no cell phones. You ain't had to worry about it. You really had to get up in there and force yourself to have a good time. You could take a little e-pills. You could take whatever drugs and stuff you want to take and have your water or whatever the case was, your liquor, whatever it was that was your go-to vice. And just get caught up in the moment and enjoy the music. This is what I used to love about clubs and festivals and going to those things back in the day. It was so much fun. Now everybody just so wrapped up in their phones like a damn zombie, just want to record the fact or just want to capture the fact that they've been there instead of actually being there in the moment. And I feel like people miss out on so many great moments because they be so wrapped up in their damn phone. And it's almost sad. So yeah, John Summit was there at Coachella, and then this is the Dreamland advertisement that's going on. I had to mute it because the last time when I posted that Justin Bieber one, um, what had happened was I had the sound on and they did a copyright. I didn't realize that I had the sound on one of his songs. And they went immediately struck me with a copyright. Luckily enough, the copyright is there, but they didn't block the video because it was getting that episode that I did with him and Jaden Smith has gotten a lot of views. So I just wanted to point this out for y'all. And yeah, so he's gonna be at that. But I have to say, at the end of the day, I don't know why people are mad. Because first of all, it's like, and this is why I feel like a lot of time when you look at the Chris Browns or these other R&B artists, they're so scared to do pride events, and they're so scared to perform in front of a gay audience because of shit like this. Because people are gonna jump up in there and make homophobic comments or say something. And what I love about John is the fact that, you know what, at the end of the day, he's like, okay, so I lost a couple of thousand of fans. Bye. So what people need to realize also, because if y'all so worried about losing fans or whatever, you lose those fans, you gain some new ones. From it being that those LGBTQ people that are going to be at that Pride event now, because they've heard the straight guys coming over here and is going to be performing at this event and getting y'all money, because he understands the job and he understands that gay is not a party and have a good time. He's just not going to be up in there being like, them faggots or whatever. Because, you know, there'll be some people that do that too. Some of your faves be doing that. They'll jump up in there and they know they're going to be at this event getting paid all this money to perform and headline, but on the low can't stand y'all asses. At least he's up in here being honest, being like, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to be performing at this event. I don't give a damn what anybody says. And my thing is this: if you got the talent and the wherewithal to really show out and give everybody a good time, why not hit all cylinders? Why would you only want to subject yourself to performing at one specific type of venue or these other venues? Don't you want to be able to have, you know, all types of people being into your music? And I'm not really familiar with John Summit's music, or maybe I am. I just don't know him by name like that because I'll be listening to, you know, I listen to other DJs. Like I be listening. I'm into like Who. I'm obsessed with them. The WH and the Zero. So I'm into Who because they have that old disco house type of sound that they do. Like very like it's a lot of throwbacks to a lot of old music, and then they kind of bring it into this new generation of house music. So I love this. I love their stuff, and they're from the UK. I also am obsessed with Floor Plan. Anything they put out, I think it's a father and daughter duo. Their music is lit. So I do listen to a lot of DJs. I actually listen to non-dollar too. So I may have to, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of John Summit's music. So I think because of this also makes someone like me who's not really familiar with him because he's recent, he's new, I may check him out. So isn't that what you want? Like you want to be able to find, like, gain audiences and people who may not have heard of you. You want to put yourself out there. So don't listen to these homophobes. And I'm glad he's smart to be like, okay, well, you're not going to support me. You're going to lose me as a fan because I'm playing for gays when you don't even know the foundation of house music comes from the gay community. Then fuck you and bye. Thank you for nice knowing you. I don't need you over here. You know, I don't support ignorant ass people. So I'm over here going to do my own thing. You kind of go fuck yourself and keep it moving. So there's that. All right. So oh, he said he followed him on Instagram. He is a cutie. So I've talked to Ryan Scott a couple of times too. He's nice. I'm not really familiar with Ryan Scott. I may have to check out and see who that is. But yeah, I'm a fan of DJs. There's been a lot of DJs out here who's been really putting out some good damn music that I be listening to because I be needing stuff to work out to at the gym. So I be listening to a lot of a lot of DJ sets and things of that nature, and people who I find like that's really fascinating that I can listen to and things of that nature. Like I still be listening to a lot of I even started listening to Adelphi Music Factory. They got a lot of great stuff. Also, Amon Van Helden is another one who's been around for 100 years that I listen to a lot of his DJ sets and stuff too. Oh, he's from oh, you said he's gay and lives in LA? Oh. And well, the only one I know of, I Don't Search, I Find, the remix that I absolutely am obsessed with, and I have to constantly listen to it, and I'm working out to it at the gym. Honey Dijon, her remix of I Don't Search, I Find is like one of my favorites. So I be listening to her too. I told her I am a house head. It's like that is my go-to genre. Well, I mean, like I listen to all different types of music, but my go-to is house music, especially because it's like, you know, it's good music to work out to. It's good music to get me in the mood with a lot of things. So that's why I listen to a lot of it. And oh, you did a remix of one of his songs. I didn't even know he had a contest, but I know a lot of DJs have a lot of contests and all that other stuff. But anyway, I was not expecting to do a 3-hour show today, but you know, sometimes shit happens. So, with that being said, I'm trying to turn everything off. All right. Thank you all for tuning into this latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Thank you, everybody who's tuned in before you guys clock out and go about your day because it's Friday and I know a lot of people want to get out and start drinking and having a good time and partying over the weekend and all this other stuff. I'll probably be working. Well, I'm definitely working tomorrow. The Knicks playoffs kick off tomorrow, I believe. So I'll definitely be working that. So shout out to the New York Knicks. You know, the Rangers got their playoffs that's coming up too. So it's gonna be a busy time in sports. And I'll be there making that money. So tune in next time for a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please leave a like button, you know, a like, hit that subscribe button, the notification button, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. Let me know how much you guys love the show. And all the good stuff. For those of you watching the playback, also hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button, so that way you know when I go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Once again, you guys have a great weekend. I'll probably see if, depending on if there's any juiciness that's going to be coming out this weekend, I may give you all a show on Sunday. Don't quote me, but we'll see if there's any interesting topics to hit on, and I'll probably jump on the line and spill some tea with y'all and all that good stuff. But anyway, love you all for watching. Until next time, ciao, darlings.